try this again. Boop. Do that. Go here. All right. Just gonna test the mic real quick here. Hello? Okay. All right. Oh, hey, Viv.
I know about 428, but only for the dumbest reason.
What's the dumbest reason?
Because the Type Moon people, the Fate people, did a scenario for it.
I see. That's kind of cool. Yeah, this is one that's been in the Steam library for a little bit, and I'm like, this is one I really want to play at some point, and if we ever did it on the channel, it's one of those things it's too far down the list, as cool as it is. You know what I mean? So I figured, why not? I'm in the mood. Doesn't preclude us from visiting it again someday, but I think. There we go. Now it's a little bit more audible. Okay, we'll start there. Hey, everyone. Well, no, I don't want to quit the game. No, I don't. What? Stop. Welcome to 428 Should Be You Scramble. As I was saying to Vivian earlier, this is one that's been on kind of our radar for a good long while now. And it's one that's been sitting around in our Steam library, and I really wanted to get around to playing this. It's a very distinctive sound novel. Hi, Henri. Welcome to the stream. And I think it's really, it just everything about it looks really cool to me, and I can't wait to give it a try. It's the kind of thing that like we would want to play on the channel maybe someday, and if we do, like that'll be fine. It's not like there won't be any point to playing it a second time, like in the far, far future. But it's definitely far enough down the list of what we got for priorities that I don't feel bad playing it now. So let's do this. Select a bookmark to save to. I'll save to 01. Want the guide to gameplay to be displayed. We recommend that first-time players select yes. The guide to... Okay, well, I'm a first-time player, so I will select yes. Now saving, please do not turn off the system. All right. Hit me. This story is a work of fiction. Names, characters, places, and incidents are either products of the author's imagination or are used fictitiously. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events or locales is entirely coincidental. Spike Soft. How loud are we doing? That's much louder than I expected it to be. I'm going to bump you back down just a little bit more. There we go. And I'm going to bump me up just ever slightly so I don't have to... Oh, God, that's loud. Where was this enthusiasm earlier? Oh, yo, this opening credit sequence. Already I'm all about this. Okay, let me know if that audio bounce is good. I am all about this. So, if you didn't know, the idea with this game is it's a sound novel, which is the same vein of stuff like Umaneko, Fatamoru, but done entirely with FMV and real-life photography. And I can't wait to look at this. Hey, that's it! That's the titular scramble! There it is! They put it in the thing! Alright, goodbye. Man, this shot is cool. So this game is from 2008, I believe. So this is like almost a decade and a half old at this point. I believe it got released on the Wii. I'm playing the Steam version now. But yeah, what a strange game and a strange time to release it. I am going to let the opening credits play out, of course. We always let the credits play out on this channel. Oh, excellent. Oh, there's a hostage situation, huh? All right. Oh. Still FMV here. All right. Ah, I see. It's parked in the middle of the road, huh? Okay. Kitajima. That is our... He's experiencing money problems, huh? Okay. You telling me he needs a lot of money right now? Who is this? Oh. Oh, well, that's no good. I literally know nothing about what happens in the plot of this game, so I cannot wait. Shibuya's story is yours to tell. All right. I'm down to clown. I'm clowned down. So play through the game, the various mechanics will be explained. Sounds good. In 428, you follow the stories of multiple protagonists at once. Excellent. Your decisions impact their experiences as you read the story. What does the day hold in store? Their fate is in your hands. Hopefully, you can see them all through to the end. To start, you have two characters, Shinya Kano and Achi Endo. Let's begin by checking out Kano's story. Okay, so we can't start with Kano. We have to start with Kano. We can't start with Achi. Okay. I love how they got specific photos of them on each angle specifically so they could look like they're rotating in. Oh, that's so the part where they had to take individual photos for each part of the sprite work that would have been hand drawn is just this is delightful. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, we don't have a time chart yet. Okay. Well, let's start with you, Kano. Oh, this is amazing. This is the energy of those old fighting games that used to be like entirely not mocap, but like just 2 more minutes to go. Shinya Kano noted the time again on his watch, scowling at the slow creep of the second hand. The time was 9:58 a.m. Furrows of consternation creased his forehead. He wasn't nervous, but he knew better than to expect anything to go smoothly. Perhaps keeping a level head was proving rather difficult. There was no room for failure. Oh, that's great. Yeah, it is. Lives were on the line here. This is so good. This is such an aesthetic, and I'm honestly surprised I haven't seen more games try to capture this, because this is so good. He eyed his surroundings. Was the perp really going to show up? Oh, is this the detective character then? When? Where would he be coming from? How would he make his approach? The Shibuya scramble was as packed as ever. A throng of people crossing this way and that, blissfully unaware of the dozens of detectives hidden in its midst. Oh yeah. All right, another minute and a half. Kano glanced down at his watch yet again. A mere 30 seconds had passed. Detective Kano had been with the enforcement arm of Shibuya's criminal affairs section for a year now, but he'd never been part of an operation this big before. Hey, that's the statue that's in every game. Yeah, he eyed the young woman standing beside the statue up ahead. She was small enough to get lost in the crowd, and she carried a nondescript attaché case. Hitomi Osawa, age 19. The attaché case in her hands contained a full 50 million yen in cash. Yesterday, her twin sister Maria had been kidnapped. This was the ransom payment. The culprit had called Hitomi last night at home, referring to her by name and telling her to wait by the Statue of Hachiko in Shibuya. It was almost time, but nothing. Kano was staring fixedly at the second hand on his watch when a homeless man sitting on the sidewalk murmured just loud enough for him to hear. Come on, Kano. Quit looking at your watch so much. What if the kidnapper sees you? Kano tried to look nonchalant as he lifted his eyes, but the scruffy character continued. You're too nervous. Just relax already. You're the one acting suspicious, Sasayama. Kano frowned. Why would some homeless guy be talking to me? Yuji Sasayama was the senior officer of Shibuya Precinct's Criminal Affairs Division, 5 years older than Kano. Guide. Some words and phrases in the text appear in blue. Okay. These are called tips. Press the square button to underline a tip, then press X. Oh, fuck. So I'm playing with a I'm playing with a plugged-in Pro controller that's mapped to the PlayStation controller. So let me see if I can remember where square is. This will let you read some extra info relating to the word or phrase. There are tips containing general knowledge and ones that are 428 specific. These are marked with a magnifying glass and a 428, respectively. Tip select. 420, okay. Shibuya Precinct. Official name, Shibuya Central Precinct. Responsible for the safety of approximately 200,000 people in 32 neighborhoods, including Uehara, Uguisudanicho, Udagawacho, Ibuso, Ibusanishi, Ebusuminami, Oyamacho, Kamiyamacho, Sakuragaokacho, Sasazuka, Sarugakucho, Shibuya, Shoto, Jingumai, Shinsencho, Jinan, Sendagaya, Dakanyamacho, Dogenzaka, Tomagaya, Nanpei-daicho, Nishihara, Hatagaya, Hachiyamacho, Hatsudai, Higashi, Hiru, Onmachi, Maruyamacho, Moto Yoyogicho, Yoyogi, and Yoyogi Kamizonocho. The statue from Tui. They should make that one real sometime. Yeah. I was going to say, some of these I recognize. Some of these neighborhoods I recognize specifically because they were in games like Tui. He always went a little overboard with the disguises. He claimed it was all part of the job, but word around the station was that he just liked playing dress-up. Hey, pal, spare some change. Sasayama lurched to his feet and shuffled, clinging close to Kano. Hey, knock that off. Fittingly for the part, Sasayama reeked pretty badly. Huh, well, I ain't so suspicious now, huh? He clung to Kano with mock camaraderie, despite the younger man's attempts to pull away. Come on, Sasayama, cut it out. Sasayama's blithe confidence rattled Kano's nerves. Of course there was good reason for that confidence. This was Kano and Sasayama's jurisdiction, but they were positioned a good distance from where the handoff was to take place. Those tips do not show up in high contrast, do they? A particular jurisdiction, a particular region over which an organization or a member thereof has control or authority, refers here to the areas under the jurisdiction of various police precincts. The Metropolitan Police Department, at the pinnacle of Tokyo's police hierarchy, has vastly more authority than local precincts, but since many officers wind up needing to work with both, the outright rivalry between the two isn't as notable as TV dramas may make it seem. The Statue of Hachiko was surrounded by elite investigators from one of HQ's special investigation teams. Sometimes 2 or more tips will appear on a single screen. Press square repeatedly to change which words are underlined. Highlight the tip you wish to read, then press X. Continue pressing square, or press circle to return to reading the story. The Statue of Hachiko. A bronze statue of a dog erected in 1934. The dog was famous for loyally waiting for his absent master. Well known as a meetup spot outside of Shibuya Station. Other popular meetup spots at the station are the display car for the original Tokyo 5000 series, commonly known as the Green Frog, and the Moyai statue by the west entrance. Wow! Well, the first one and the third one I recognize also from P5, but the Moyai statue is all 3 of them I recognize from Twui as well. It's funny how just how many games take place in this city, huh? HQ here refers to Metropolitan Police Department, the Tokyo Police Section responsible for managing 101 precincts within the city, Japan's largest police organization. In addition to policing Tokyo, it has various other duties and authorities for maintaining public order in the capital. Reasonable. Kano and his partner were just there to provide backup if the kidnapper attempted to flee. Look, just try to relax. We'll be fine. Sasayama gave him a wink. A moment later, the radio squawked in Kano's ear. All right, everyone. It's time. Keep your eyes open. Oh. The voice coming in through the earpiece was Koji Kuze, HQ's operations director. the individual responsible for directing the investigation in the event of a serious crime. If a task force is set up, the operations director is the one who assumes command. TV dramas and other fictional accounts often feature some young prodigy in the MPD as operations director, but in reality, the position usually goes to a proven veteran. Sensible. Until last year, he'd been Shibuya Precinct's head detective and Kano supervisor. We don't know when the perp is going to make contact. Don't let your guard down. No, he's got a low gravel. Fuck you. Why would you tell me that after I've already Okay. We don't know when the perp is going to make contact. Don't let your guard down. Kuze's low, gravelly voice echoed in Kano's ear. One of the tips appears in some climatic high-intensity scene. I see you're dying, but do you want to know about Akihabara right now? I do, thank you. You don't sound too worried, Kuze. Kano winced at Sasayama. Oh, that's Sasayama. Sasayama's words. How could the man be so nonchalant? The appointed time had come and gone. Something should be happening. Whap. Kano smacked himself in the thigh to release a little tension. The sound was a little louder than he intended, though the suit hid his muscular physique. It did little to dampen the noise. He needed to stay focused. He might be called to action at any moment. The department handled abduction cases according to a certain standard investigation procedure. Was it an attempt to extort money, or was the motive something personal? The answer to that question determined how they'd deal with the criminal. Yo, Sass! Gonna watch the anime sequel to this where they blow up a place with a Wiimote because the sequel is on the Wii canon? What? Probably. That sounds awesome. And based on the investigation team's initial findings this time around, they probably weren't dealing with a professional kidnapper. Still, in all likelihood, it was someone with quite a long rap sheet. Probably someone who knew the family, but so far they had few leads on who might bear such a grudge. With the situation so unclear, the plan was to apprehend whomever came to make the handoff on sight. If the culprit ran with the money, there'd be no guarantee of the hostage's well-being. Still nothing. Oh, that's... still nothing, Sasayama muttered. There he is, he's here! Kuze broke in, his voice spiking into an excited chirp. Subject is a young male in his 20s, wearing a bandana and an orange hoodie. Excited chirp, Kuze's particular vocal quirk. Whenever he gets overly flustered, excited, or panicked, he slips into a childish register, prone to babbling and pitching his voice. I see. Kuze, normally calm and stoic, was now squawking like an excited child. That only happened when he got particularly worked up. Kano and Sasayama steeled themselves. They could see the subject now. A 20-something male nonchalantly approached Hitomi to talk to her. All right, people. Be ready to grab this guy. Kuze was stationed in the mobile command center not far from the intersection, keeping tabs on the situation via video surveillance from the camera team. The young man started speaking enthusiastically to Hitomi. The detective watched, uncertain. Was this really the kidnapper? You'll encounter selections like these during the story. These choices will change the lives of other people in addition to changing your own fate. Use up and down to make your choice, then press X. The current choice will not impact you or any of the other protagonists. Do I not get to save? Oh, okay, I don't get to save. That's fine. I don't know. This doesn't look like a kidnapper. He looks like some dude handing out leaflets, right? Yeah. The situation still wasn't entirely clear. He needed to get a better look at things. The newcomer held a bundle of letter-sized paper, which he showed to Hitomi as he went on talking. He tried to hand her one of the papers, but she pointedly ignored him. Undeterred, the man kept trying to foist it off on her. Hitomi refused to respond, becoming as motionless as the statue of Hachiko behind her. Hitomi standing there like, I do not believe you exist, orange hoodie man. Right? Until finally the man gave up and walked away. Guess it wasn't him. Kano felt the tension of the moment linger in his spine. Guy must have been hitting on her, Sasayama muttered. I do not enjoy the sound novel thing where they don't tell you who's speaking until after the line is on the screen, but you know what? Hitting on her, succeeding at meeting someone on the fly like this takes a special knack. Looks are also important. Sometimes, of course, the person trying to get your attention out of nowhere is just trying to make a sales pitch for a product on a nearby establishment. At first glance, it isn't always easy to tell the difference. Keep that in mind if you ever need tips for hitting on someone. Thank you, 428 should be a scramble. I mean, she's pretty cute and all. He had a point. Of course. Something in Sasayama's voice made Kano brace himself. She's got nothing on my Mii-chan. Mii-chan was Sasayama's wife. They'd gotten married just last month. Let me tell you, Kano, married life is the best. You gotta hurry up and give it a try for yourself. This was Sasayama's favorite topic lately, and Kano was getting more and more fed up with it. Sasayama, come on, just knock it off, okay? The phrase had become a common refrain of his since the department partnered them. Fine, let's talk about your girlfriend then. Huh? Now? You can't be serious. Sasayama leaned in close again. What's she like? We are not having this conversation, Kano muttered, looking away. Come on! Sasayama set his hand on Kano's chest, still playing the homeless troublemaker. Show me your phone. Let me see your lock screen. Huh? Sasayama pawed for the phone. You got your pic of your girl on your lock screen, yeah? I do not. Always makes you the thing of SMV Sound Novel Tokyo Shadow on the Sega Saturn, where if you do the wrong path, you get bored and pooped out, where you meet a ghost and then meet... What? Leave it to Sass to come up with the fucking video game ephemera. What on earth, Sass? That's so bizarre. But he did. It was scary how on the mark Sasayama's instincts were. Hey, cut it out. We're in the middle of investigation. I am investigating, Sasayama chuckled as he plucked the phone from Kano's pocket. His face scrunched up with an astonishment as he looked at the lock screen. The heck is this? It's not... Ain't this Masami Nagahama? Anime FMV game where the... I wonder the creator Higurashi didn't play, because there are some similarities. Oh, really? Masami Nagahama, a national star, tends to play the heroine on national morning soap operas or in national historical dramas. Her songs have been a series of national hits, and she's even slated to host the year-end national singing competition program. Everything about her is national. Yo, look at that phone! Look at that 2008-ass phone! Yes! Kano realized he had to bite the bullet. No, that's my girlfriend. Her name is Rumi, and she's... Sasayama cut him off. You telling me this ain't Masami Nagahama, the famous actress? Because this right here is Masami Nagahama. Like I said... You sly old dog, trying to make like you're not... trying to make like you're dating Masami Nagahama. I'm not. I mean, I guess Rumi does kind of look like her. Sasayama let out a huff. Deals with a happy-go-lucky girl with no memory who you later realize is trying to kill you. I got murdered a bunch. Fair enough. I still haven't played Higurashi yet, but, you know, I've at least kind of learned that kind of much about it just from being around the internet. For real? You really think I'm going to fall for that? There's nothing to fall for, I swear. Sasayama scowled, unconvinced. All right, then why don't you marry her? Kano stammered, but he had no answer. Okay, why don't you marry your girlfriend to prove that she's not this national star? The truth was he would have happily married her already, but there were obstacles that needed to be overcome. After Utena, of course. Okay, playtime's over. Let's focus on the job. Sasayama handed back Kano's phone and turned his gaze back to Hitomi. Kano let out a quick, uneasy sigh, but his shoulders did feel looser. Maybe Sasayama had been trying to relieve a bit of the tension. Maybe he should be grateful. By now, several minutes had passed since the guy with the papers had gone away. He peered at Hitomi. The strain on her face was visible. In addition to the weight of the attaché case itself, the 5,000, 10,000 yen bills it held weighed close to 6 kilos. Her slender arms must have been getting tired. Still, she refused to set the case down. She wasn't taking any chances with her sister's life. The kidnapping case had begun the day before, at around 7 p.m. This is MBD Dispatch. Shibuya Precinct is reporting a missing person believed to be an abduction. Subject is Maria Osawa, a 19-year-old student at Midoriyama Academy. Last seen on the LL Diner in Canada campus. Abduction. In Japanese law, the act of indirectly luring or deceiving someone into control of a third party is known as kidnapping. Using forcible threats or violence to achieve the same result is known as abduction. A man was allegedly seen forcing her into a car nearby. All officers in the vicinity report the scene at once. Kano and Sasayama had been working a burglary case in Jingumai's 5th district when they got the call. The two arrived at the LL Diner at 7:15 p.m. At roughly the same time, several other officers showed up to secure the area, blocking off entry to nearby roadways and monitoring the surrounding establishments. Inside the restaurant, Kano and Sasayama were met by the girl who'd reported the kidnapping. It was the victim's twin sister, Hitomi. Could you tell us about when Mario was taken, starting from the very beginning? Kano said, keeping his voice low. My sister and I were supposed to go to a party together today. Hitomi was trembling, her voice hoarse. But I messed up the time. I showed up right at 7, an hour later than I was supposed to. So Maria had gone alone to the party, a mixer for locals and exchange students. Hitomi, arriving late, had showed up just in time to glance out through the restaurant window and see her sister getting shoved into a car. She described the vehicle as a blue station wagon of Japanese make. Why would something like this happen to her? Hitomi held back her tears, but she was shaking all over. Did you get a look at the kidnapper? Yes, it was a man, middle-aged. There was another eyewitness, Leland Palmer. He identified himself as a lecturer at Hitomi and Maria's school. I saw too. It was like Hitomi says. I heard Hitomi cry out, and so I went to the window to look, and... His Japanese was halting, as if he hadn't been in the country very long. And I think that maybe the kidnapper was working alone. Leland explained that he'd seen the man shove Maria into the back seat and then clamber into the driver's seat. If he had an accomplice, why wouldn't they have been driving? Neither Hitomi nor Leland had gotten a look at the suspect's face. Kano was interviewing others who had been on the scene, looking for other potential witnesses, when his phone rang. It was Yoshio Kajiwara, one of the senior detectives. We've set up the task force for the investigation. Oh, shit. Get back to the station once you have a handle on the situation there. Barely half an hour had passed between the time of the kidnapping was reported and the time the task force began operation. Task force! Roughly 150 people are working on the case in the Shibuya Precinct's conference room. The main force at work is HQ's first Special Investigation Unit. Additionally, other detective sections, a riot squad, and investigators from neighboring precincts have been assembled. Damn. Girl must be rich. When Kano and Sasayama had got back to the precinct station, Kuze had already arrived from HQ. He informed them that a response team had been formed to investigate the victim's home. In a case where someone has been abducted for ransom, it is often difficult to resolve the situation without cooperating with the victim's family. But the family can also be a hindrance in making an arrest. To help guide the family's actions, a response team is assembled and is stationed at the victim's home, led by an investigator with proper training. I cannot open the time chart here. Is that what that button is? Okay. So there is no, one thing I'm discovering that's a little unfortunate, there is no, oh, here we go. I guess there's if you just press around. Press up to go back and reread sections you've already played through. To scroll ahead to the text you've already seen, press down. When rewinding and advancing like this, a book will sometimes appear in the upper left corner. Press X while this is being displayed to reread the current page. Kano could feel a peculiar tension in the air. Unfamiliar MPD detectives scurried to and fro around the Shibuya offices. He pulled one of them aside to get a quick update. An hour had now passed since the kidnapping. There had been one new development. The perpetrator had made a threatening call to the victim's home. He said the following. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., by Hachiko in Shibuya. Have the sister Hitomi bring 50 million yen. If not, the girl's life is forfeit. Damn. Kajiwara from the precinct was put on the response team along with detectives from elsewhere who had received special training in abduction cases. Normally, a local precinct detective wouldn't have gone undercover in a victim's home. Kuze, however, had decided that having a knowledgeable local was crucial and had sent Kajiwara along. The detectives disguised themselves as delivery people and movers to make their way inside without arousing suspicion, arriving there at 8:30. The response team had come prepared to run a trace if the kidnapper contacted the family a second time. The act of pinpointing the source of an incoming phone call. The police are not allowed to do this independently without oversight. They must go through a formalized process that includes securing the cooperation of the phone company. In the past, conducting the trace itself would take time, but nowadays acquiring the location could be practically instantaneous. But there were no further calls. Kano checked his watch again. 20 minutes had now passed since the time designated for the ransom handoff. The kidnapper had yet to appear. Crap, you think we might have spooked him? He wondered aloud. Hey, stay calm. Sasayama scanned the passing throng. He's just playing with us. Why'd this guy even pick this place? Kano voiced the question he'd been asking himself ever since he heard the kidnapper's demands. Sasayama shrugged. Figure he must want to blend in with the crowd and have the money and disappear before anyone knows he's there, would be my guess. In that case, why not pick Shinjuku or Ginza? The big crowd didn't just benefit the kidnapper, after all. It also allowed the police to use the sea of people to conceal their own operation. Right now, there were 50 detectives stationed within a 50-meter radius of where Hitomi stood. Oh, that's a good shot. Oh, and just off the screen to the right there is where you exit the jail when you're playing Persona 5 Scramble. The kidnapper would be taking a major risk if his plan was to nab the ransom money and run. That's what bothered Kano. Any criminal with half a brain would know better than to do a handoff in front of Hachiko. You're overthinking things, pal, Sasayama grumbled. No, I'm not. Kano reached into his pocket and pulled out his notepad. This was Kano's dick diary, which he always kept at... Pardon me? Pardon me, game? You wanna take a moment? Explain your... No? Alright. Sasayama rolled his eyes. That thing again? Kano ignored him, flipping through the notepad pages. Jesus. You, like to write big, huh? Aha, here it is. Is it called that because of the veins? I have no idea. Damn, though. No wonder he needed such a thick notebook if he writes that big in it. Dick Dictum, number 89. The more irrelevant something seems, the more relevant it's bound to be. It was a favorite saying of Kyuzo Tateno, an assistant inspector from the Shibuya precinct. Tateno was the kind of detective Kano aspired to be. For the current operation, he'd been placed in charge of Hitomi's personal safety. He was in position to defend her as soon as the ransom had been handed off. Of course, Hitomi hadn't been informed of how much protection she was under. There was a risk that if she acted too secure, it might alert the kidnapper. I think Tateno was the right idea. Sasayama snorted quietly. Maybe. I mean, he's a great detective. Don't get me wrong. But do you know how many irrelevant things there are to consider? Again, Kano ignored him. It didn't matter if no one else understood. Kano had faith in Tateno, as both a detective and as an individual. He had first witnessed Tateno's brilliance during a standoff at a financial company 3 years earlier. A man had shut himself in an office, splashing gasoline everywhere and threatening to set the place ablaze. While the others hesitated, Tateno unflinchingly doused himself with gasoline and strode into the building, where he managed to talk the man down and secured the scene. The others had been awestruck by Tateno's actions, and Kano, who at the time had been content to run to be a run-of-the-mill policeman, had found it quite inspiring. Still, you know, Sasayama murmured under his breath. The great detective as Tateno is, it's not like anyone else in the world has ever heard of him. I suppose not, Kano said. So? Only time anyone ever hears a cop's name is if he's caught up in some scandal or killed in the line of duty. I mean, doesn't really seem that fair, does it? Kano just shrugged. They can't just surprise hit you with the Dick Diary and Dick Dictum as if it's completely normal, but I respect that they did. Right? It's... One might call it a, dick move. Yeah. All right. It was a strange definition of unfair, really. I mean, you got celebrity chefs and celebrity hairdressers and stuff, so how come no celebrity gumshoes, you know? Look, please. Can you just focus on what we're doing here? Kano rubbed his eyes, then turned his attention back to Hitomi. What's the matter? Didn't sleep? Not enough, I guess. Did you eat? Didn't have time. Between bringing in supplies for the base of operations, readying the team's vehicles, photocopying hundreds of documents, and various other tasks, Kano had barely slept the previous night, and hadn't gotten a meal in either. Base of operations. A base of operations is usually set up in a large room at the precinct, such as an auditorium. MPD and precinct investigators assemble there, and communications equipment, investigation resources, and such are brought in. Because of the scale and scope of these activities, newspaper reporters can be liable to notice, and so in cases such as kidnapping where a victim's personal safety is at stake, the flow of information is tightly controlled. What have you been doing? Sasayama puffed out his chest. Saving up my energy for today. Oh, no, I'm sorry. What have you been doing? Sasayama puffed out his chest. Saving up my energy for today. So you were sleeping. Kano gave a wry chuckle at his partner's lack of shame. There he is! No, that's Kuze. There he is. Kuze's voice chirped suddenly through Kano's earpiece. A man in his 20s carrying a sleeveless red jacket. He's carrying a garbage bag. Eco. That recycled... that is a shirt, my dude. A young man had emerged from the crowd about 15 feet from where Hitomi was standing. He strode toward her, a sinister look on his face. He didn't match Hitomi's description, but Kano felt a jolt of nerves all the same. Maybe the kidnapper had hired some young street punk to snatch the ransom payment. That a guy? What do you think, Kano? Sasayama whispered. Yeah, I think it's gotta be. This was it. Kano swallowed the lump in his throat. He bent his knees, ready to act fast. Blood rushed to his leg, muscles banishing the stiffness that had begun to take hold. Could this be the culprit? Or perhaps... The young man tried to snatch the briefcase from Hitomi, but she clung to it with desperate strength. It was him! The detectives rushed in. Whoa, hey, what the hell? The young man cried out frantically and tried to dart away, but the officers closed in, forcing him bodily to the ground. Target secured. Oh, geez, I think we got another suspect on the scene. He's taking the ransom. Kuze's hysterics made Kano spin around. Sure enough, a foreign-looking man was sprinting away, attaché case in hand. The mob of detectives scrambled to pursue. Before Kano could react, most of them had run off, leaving him to look after the original suspect. Just hanging out there. What should I do with this guy, sir? He might have some connection to the kidnapper. Should I bring him in? Huh? Oh, sure. That'd be swell. I'm on it. With the help of one of the remaining detectives, Kano brought the suspect back to the Shibuya precinct. Hey, man, how many times do we have to go through this? Cut the crap. In the interrogation room, the young man, who gave his name as Achi Endo, steadfastly insisted on his innocence. Why did you try to steal that case? Kano watched Achi's face intently. Like I said, it looked heavy. I was just trying to help her out. It wasn't inconceivable that a young guy would want to help a pretty girl. but Hitomi had just been standing there, hardly in desperate need of assistance. She hadn't set the case down, so I figured there had to be something important inside. An entry from Kano's Dick diary shot through his mind. Dick dictum number 25. When the tongue slips, grab it and yank out the truth. Blurred Sasayama face right next to perfectly focused Kano was very good. All of this game has been very good so far. I appreciate it. Classic advice for a questioning. Something important, you say? Such as? How the hell would I know? Achi spat. He huffed and slumped back in his chair. Yo, EV, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day. I heard this game is good. I've heard this game is pretty good, too. This standard textbook back and forth had been going on for nearly an hour. Kano didn't mind. Chasing down criminals was all well and good, but questioning suspects was another key part of the job. Plenty of off-the-scene work went into cracking a case. Once again, he had Achi explain what he'd been doing, starting from the beginning. When Kano finally emerged from the interrogation room for a short break, he learned that there had been some progress on the case at the crime scene. What the police hadn't been able to determine yet, however, was whether or not Mario was safe. Fighting back his anxiety, Kano consulted his Dick diary. Dick dictum number 54. Haste makes waste. He felt his tension subside, remembering the right maxim always helped. It was like casting a magic spell. I'm sure it is, bub. Kano returned to confront Achi once more. You were there to act as a distraction to mess up the investigation, weren't you? Huh? Achi looked a bit dumbfounded. What are you on about? Dick dictum, number 55. The truth hungers to be free. You hungry? I've got some katsudon if you like. Katsudon, Japanese dish consisting of a bowl of white rice topped with breaded pork cutlet and egg. There are several variations such as sauce katsudon, where the egg is replaced with Worcestershire sauce, and miso katsudon, where the pork is stewed in miso. Not typically the sort of thing a policeman offers a suspect during an interrogation, this could be seen as baiting with food, and is to be avoided. Achi nodded silently. Achi devoured the bowl of katsudon with gusto. He looked like he hadn't eaten in a while. All right, then, spill it. What is this guy after? Achi just shrugged. I know, he murmured, a thick slice of egg-laden pork between his teeth. How many accomplices do you have? Kano asked. But Achi just shook his head as he inhaled his food. Resignedly, Kano flipped through his notebook once more. Let's see. Number 115. Use the lights to your advantage. As the minutes ticked past, he found himself referring to his book again and again, trying a dozen different methods to tease out whatever his suspect might be hiding. The experience began to feel strangely surreal, their two voices echoing hollowly in the interrogation room. Kano trying really hard to interpret these dick sayings in non-dick investigation usable ways, right? Eventually, Kano looked at the clock and realized that the questioning had been going on for nearly 5 hours. He still hadn't made any headway. What was he supposed to do next? Tatena would know, but he sure didn't. Still, he was determined to do whatever he could to keep the victim and her family safe. Gritting his teeth in frustration, he perused the Dick diary like it was scripture. Number 116. The monotonous questioning was clearly tiring Achi out. His eyelids drooped like they were beginning to get heavy. Number 117. Get 'em when they're tired. Kano's eyes gleamed. You're part of some criminal gang, huh? Achi's head slumped forward heavily. Nodding off was basically the same as nodding yes, right? Oh no. What makes this scene slightly more horrifying is knowing how, how police conduct interrogations in the United States just makes this even more fucked up. Mr. Kuze, I did it. The young guy we grabbed at the handoff site, he finally confessed to the crime. What? What are you talking about? Kuze laughed in disbelief. We're just about to apprehend the mastermind here. Huh? Kano clutched his cell phone, dumbstruck. Listen, why don't you, look, just wait there at HQ, okay? No, it can't be. This is some prime dark comedy, right? Right? Very unintentional dark comedy. After the kidnapping case wrapped up, Kano tendered his resignation. Guess I'm not cut out to be a detective after all, he thought to himself. He dropped the Dick diary on his desk as he left the Shibuya precinct for the last time. Oh, well. Bad end. So long, Shibuya. Kano wound up at a bad end. However, this does not mean that the choice you made for Kano was the wrong one. One of the other protagonists, Achi Endo, has an impact on Kano's fate here. You can avoid a bad end by making proper decisions in another character's story. For a detailed hint, check the tip by underlining the bad end title. Kano had every reason to suspect Achi Endo, but arresting him turned out to be a mistake. If Achi hadn't approached Hitomi, this wouldn't have happened. Try playing Achi's story up to 10:30 to make a choice that keeps him from going up to her. If you do that, Kano won't even have a chance to arrest him, and things should play out differently. I appreciate that they give you the hints, just so you know how to get through the endings and stuff. This is cool. I am having a good time with this game. Can now select Achi Endo, one of the other protagonists. Let's follow Achi's story for a little while. Good call. Before we do that, however, really quickly, I am going to go grab a quick glass of water, because the one thing about streaming visual novel type games is that they are a huge strain on the voice, more so than just kind of like casually chatting and stuff. So I'm going to get some more water to keep the whistle wet. I'll be back in like just a minute here. Not taking like a full break, but I'm going to get a big thing of water. All right, got some water. Let's keep going. And let's take one more moment to appreciate the sprite work of them rotating in. They didn't need to do that, but I'm glad that they did. Oh, everything about this game makes me happy so far. Eco. Nice. Achi Endo called out at the door to his father's room. Okay, I'm heading out. Sure. His father sounded unconcerned. He didn't even open the door. Sure you don't want me to stay here in the shop? It's not like we're going to get any customers. Oh. Achi grimaced. Yeah, I guess not. The drawer by the front door held a stack of heavy-duty trash bags. Achi pulled a few of them out. Guess it's going to be that kind of day. He stuffed the trash bags into his pocket, then slipped on his favorite pair of sneakers. Slipped on his favorite pair of sneakers. Not slipped on his favorite. Okay. The entryway to Achi's home also led into the family shop. Various pieces of electronics were piled up like so much junk in the tiny retail space. The slightest bump brought the risk of an avalanche. Achi wove his way through the gaps in the appliances like a spelunker exploring a cave. From Shibuya Station, if you make your way past the 109 building, then up through Dogonzaga, you'll come across an old shopping district. Nestled in its outskirts is Endo Electronics, in the same place it's been for decades. Within its dimly lit interior, you'll find rows and wares all caked in dust. At a glance, you might as well assume the place was closed. A mom-and-pop place like Endo's couldn't compete with the big consumer chains booming throughout Shibuya. So far, the store had remained in business, thanks to the locals who appreciated that they made house calls to do repairs. But things weren't looking good for the future. Achi, the eldest son and nominal successor to the business, had no interest whatsoever in working there. Achi stepped out of the shop and into the sunny morning air. The good weather lifted his spirits. Alrighty, time to do this! He unfurled one of the big garbage bags, which caught the wind and fluttered like a cape. Then he slowly made his way towards Shibuya Station, scanning his surroundings all the while. Sheesh, this place is filthy. He paused to pick up a plastic bottle that had been tossed on the ground. Then with a heavy sigh, he slipped the crushed receptacle into his trash bag. See, this is unrealistic. If he actually was going out and doing this every day, he'd have like one of those little grabby things to save his back. He'd been picking up trash around town for this for about 6 months now. Gotten so that the sort of garbage most people would hardly notice stood out to him like a sore thumb. Most days he'd fill his trash bag to the top by the time he made it from his house in Dogonzaga to the train station. Today he was halfway to the station when a woman's anxious voice caught his attention. I'm sorry, I'm in a bit of a hurry here. He looked up and saw a timid-looking woman being confronted by 2 men, one with brown hair and one with black. From the look of them, he guessed that the men were scouts for some hostess club. He ran into this sort of thing pretty frequently on his trash-cleaning walks around town. Another kind of trash to take care of. Achi quickly interposed himself between the girl and the 2 recruiters. Hey, can't you see that you're bothering her? Huh? Who the hell are you? The 2 men glared. Take a hike, pal. Achi stood his ground. Look, she ain't interested. You're just gonna have to find some other mark. The hustler's annoyance turned to open rage. Well, well. Listen to you, got a bit of a mouth, huh, buddy? The brown-haired thug smacked his lips around, chewing gum like a dog worrying a bone. How about we take this someplace more quiet, yeah? What this means can depend on the person speaking. To a young woman, let's go someplace more quiet might suggest a cafe or a park. But to a street punk, it might mean an alley where passerby are unlikely to interrupt. The girl stood by uneasily, watching the goings-on. Hey, take it easy. I'm not looking for trouble. Is that supposed to be an apology? On your knees and beg, pal. The man spat his gum onto the ground. Achi looked down at the glistening wad of gum on the sidewalk. His last shred of goodwill vanished. You better pick that up. Right now. The only one who litters in this town is me. What? Didn't you hear me? Because I told you to get down on your knees and Achi's hand shot out, grabbing the man by the jaw. Whoa, 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 easy, pal! The other man's bravado drained from his face. Achi tightened his grip on the brown-haired hustler's jaw. Sweat dripped from the man's reddening brow. Ah! The man struggled, but Achi tightened his grip. Gum's a real pain in the ass to clean up after it's gotten stuck to the street, you know. Ever stop to consider that? Wait, are you... The other hustler's panicked eyes had fixed on Achi's chest. Ah! Oh, crap! That shirt, man! The guy's voice was starting to break. It is a pretty good shirt. That's mean clean! A guy with a mean clean shirt, carrying around a trash bag? That means you're... His face went pale. Meme gleam? The other echoed the words through his eyes, though his held-shut jaw, tears welling up in his eyes. Get it right, pal. Achi clenched the man's jaw harder still. Let me turn this up just a little bit. There we go. It's mean clean. Ow! 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 We're sorry, man. You're Archie, right? Dude, we honestly had no idea. Come on, man. You gotta cut us some slack. Is Archie just like the trash cleaner that's also like super intimidating if you fuck with his part of the city? The man scrambled to snatch the wad of gum off the street, stuffing it into his pants pocket. Finally, Archie let go of his companion. The brown-haired hustler's face was twisted up with fear. Tears streamed down his cheeks. Gasping out hasty apologies, the two thugs scampered off. Hey, so... A shy smile came to the girl's face. Thank you for saving me. No, I apologize. Ryoko Kakinuma, a second-year student at Midoriyama Academy's law school. These hustlers managed to corner her while she was on her way to a part-time job at a cafe. It's a popular plot in trashy e-novels for the main character to fall in love with a hustler like these guys, but such things rarely happen in real life. Huh? The girl stared in surprise. You'll run into creeps like... You'll run into creeps like that now and then, but don't hold it against us. Shibuya's a good town. Yeah, okay. Archie gave her a quick wave, then turned and continued on his way down Dogonzaka. Oh, Archie. Archie was Shibuya born and raised. He was keenly aware of all the changes the ward had seen since he was a kid. Grocery stalls and inconspicuous little side streets, tiny parks nestled between buildings. Archie knew it all like the back of his hand. Trash, human or otherwise, had no place in this town. Not on his watch. Archie made his way down toward Shibuya Station. Throngs of people shuffled to and fro across the scramble. The view shifted constantly from one moment to the next, almost as if the city itself were alive. And if the city was a living thing, then Shibuya Station was its heart, with streets like Bunkamuradori and Center Gai serving as the arteries pumping a bloodstream made of people. Today, as ever, the heart was pumping that blood to every nook and cranny of Shibuya. And there was Archie, just another part of this great urban organism. Guess I'm one of the city's white blood cells. Wait, maybe I'm a red blood cell? Huh, hold on. Is that right? Or did I have it right the first time? White blood cells eliminate pathogens from the bloodstream. Red blood cells carry oxygen throughout the body. Archie was probably thinking of white blood cells. It doesn't matter, though. Archie watched too much anime and turned him into an eco-friendly superhero, right? Go Archie, the hero we all need but don't deserve. Emerging from his reverie, he noticed a rather conspicuous young woman standing by the statue of Hachiko outside Shibuya Station. Oh, she's totally my type. Wonder if she's a model or small-time actress or something. My type, to be up someone's alley, to be someone's cup of tea. I like how they... I like how the tip took a metaphorical turn of phrase and explained it using two more metaphorical turns of phrase. Looks like she's waiting for someone. Probably another guy. Dang. Good looking as she was, there was no way she wasn't already taken. What kind of guy scored a girl like that? Probably the rich-ass CEO of an IT company or something. Crouching down to tie off the trash bag, he continued He continued gazing wistfully at the girl. Then he noticed something peculiar. She was carrying an attaché case, the kind a businessman might use. It was a large case and apparently so heavy that she was struggling to hold it despite using both hands. You've reached a decision point. Let's have Archie not approach Hitomi. Okay, so the game wants me to do the not approach thing, but what if we still had him approach? What if we still, like, can we get another bad end this way? Oh, I literally can't. Okay. Got it. But first, I gotta dump this trash. He looked around to see if there was a garbage bin nearby. Now Achi won't approach Hitomi, which means he will avoid being arrested by Kano. At the same time, Kano's fate will also change, and he will no longer end up at a bad end. So let's switch back to Kano's story using the time chart. Press triangle to open it. Woo! Okay, this is the time chart. It shows the protagonist's progression through the story. Decision points are marked with an arrow. Kano's fate has changed based on Achi's actions. Select Kano's 1030 block, then press X. Introduced to being clean after Kano spent hours perusing his dick diary. True. Suppose you could call it that. Kano gave a wry chuckle at his partner's lack of shame. There he is. Kuze's voice chirped. There he is! Kuze's voice chirped suddenly through Kano's earpiece. The man in the black coat. He's not Japanese. Looks to be in his early 30s. Previously, Achi got mixed up with Kano and the police, but now another man has appeared instead. By changing what Achi did, you've also changed Kano's story. Okay, so maybe the guide is a bit overbearing, but it's fine. A foreign man had emerged from the crowd about 15 feet from where Hitomi was standing. He made his way toward her, his expression blank. He didn't match the description Hitomi had given them, but Kano felt a jolt of nerves all the same. Maybe the kidnapper was using an accomplice to snatch the ransom payment. All right, Sasayama raised an eyebrow. This may be our guy. This was it. Kano swallowed the lump in his throat. He bent his knees, ready for action. Blood rushed to his leg muscles, bandaging the stiffness that had begun to take hold. Was this the culprit? Or perhaps... The stranger took hold of the attaché case. It was him! Unmasked, the detectives began to close in. Let's go, Kano! On it! Sasayama and Kano leapt into action, but they never expected what happened next. The case clutched in both arms, the man veered suddenly, running right toward them. Keep out. Kano's story has suddenly hit a keep out. Keep out refers to a point in the story where your progress is currently stopped. In order to advance beyond a keep out, you need to jump from another protagonist's story. At 10:30, Achi has the text, young man in a suit, set as red keywords. Checking these red keywords will allow you to jump from Achi's story back to Kano's. Now head back to Achi's story. Keep an eye out for that key phrase. Try following the story from Achi at 10:30. Approach the girl. If this guy was a red herring too and they just kept a protagonist like that, right? What, can we do this one and get to that ending and just... No, they won't let me, okay. First I gotta dump this trash! He looked around to see if there was a garbage bin nearby. Huh? A man had come up beside the girl. He was dressed in black and he wasn't Japanese. It looked like they were having a conversation. The girl nodded tensely at something the man said. Achi stared. Something tells me that's not her boyfriend. The girl handed the attaché case over to the man. He took hold of it with his right hand and began walking briskly away. Whoa! A nearby homeless man suddenly leapt over Achi and broke into a run, as if he'd been waiting for this very moment. Yuji Sasayama, a detective in the Shibuya precinct, known as the cosplay detective due to the strange outfits he wears while on stakeouts. He's partnered with Shibuya Kano for the kidnapping investigation. Sprinting alongside him was a young man in a suit. Some words in the text appeared red. Red text denotes important keywords that let you jump between different protagonists' stories. This allows you to shift between characters at specific points. This can also allow you to clear a keep out in another character's story and let you read on. If you come across red text, press square to underline it, then press X. A window will appear allowing you to jump from one protagonist to another at that point. Then press X to continue the other character's story after the keep out. Give it a try. This is so freaking elaborate. I love this. By performing a jump from this screen, you can advance another protagonist's story past a keep out. Press X to confirm and jump over to Kano's story. Let's go, Kano. On it. Sasayama and Kano leapt into action. You did it. Jump successful. In 428, you will often need to jump to get past another character's keep out. Jump from red keywords to clear a keep out. Keep this in mind as you advance through the story. Okay, there won't be any more tutorial messages for a while. If you get stuck somewhere, try changing protagonists or making different decisions to advance. You can now use the time chart in the main menu. For the main menu, you can access gameplay explanations and adjust settings. Press triangle to open the time chart, and options to open the main menu. They knew the FMV was inherently silly, and I'm so glad they leaned into it. I am so happy they did, too. Alright, so what we'll do, I do want to go back and see if we can get another bad ending by still approaching as Achi and Achi's story, but we'll see. Never expected what happened next. With the case clutched in both arms, the man suddenly veered, running right toward them. What? Catching sight of the two detectives, the suspect staggered to a halt, then bolted off in a new direction. Kano whipped off his costume glasses and followed in hot pursuit. At the crosswalk, the signal changed to red, and the flow of foot traffic abruptly halted. Just as quickly, hundreds of cars all lurched back into motion. There was no escape for the culprit now, or so it appeared. The converging cops slowed their pace, confident their man was cornered. The foreigner barreled straight into the intersection, dodging between the oncoming cars without any hesitation. The mob of detectives came to a halt, not eager to rush to their deaths along with him. Kano, however, remained in hot pursuit, charging into the traffic at the crossing. Kano, are you crazy? Come back! Kano heard Sasayama shouting, but his feet kept carrying him onward. Howdy. Yo, Pou, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day. We're playing 428 today. Hope you like FMV sound novels, because this is pretty freaking great so far. With shouts and sirens echoing all around him, Kano closed in on the foreigner. Just a little closer, and he'd be in tackling range. He leaned forward, preparing to pounce, his eyes fixed on the culprit's feet. It was now or never. Kano, back off. Don't take him down. It was Kuze shouting through Kano's earpiece. Huh? Kano hesitated in surprise. Had he really just been ordered not to apprehend the criminal? Let him go for now. The real purpose someplace else. What had happened to the plan? He had been told that all personnel were to secure the area ASAP. Didn't HQ want to catch the perpetrator? Arrest team, stay on the foreigner's trail. Police team dedicated exclusively to the task of apprehending the criminal. While the kidnapping case is in progress, the roles of the officers involved are carefully designated so that every officer is ready to take immediate action as the situation develops. Typically, tried and true veteran MPD officers are put in charge of teams for breaking into buildings or apprehending the suspect. Forensics team, get busy cross-referencing photos. Forensics team, the team deployed by the MPD to handle the actual tests and techniques of on-scene investigation, such as collecting and comparing fingerprints and analyzing photos of suspects. Even if this foreigner was only an underling hired for this one task, the police had now tipped their hand that they'd been lying in wait. They didn't lock things down now and get more info on the kidnapper. A girl's life might be at stake. Kano recalled another maxim from his Dick Diary. Dick Dictum, number 12. Always assume a worst-case scenario. If Kuze had told him to let this guy go, that implied he was counting on the team that was now in position. But if the crook had planned a way to break through the police dragnet and escape with the ransom, and he succeeded, what was the right call here? Should he take this guy down or back off after all? Excellent. This is what I was hoping for. Okay. Let's ignore the advice of our superior officers and bring him down now. Letting the perp escape now is too big of a risk. You had to catch this guy ASAP. The man darted down a narrow alleyway. Kano ran faster. The man sprinted through the side streets. Evidently, he knew his way around Shibuya pretty well. Ah! Someone's taking a Tomy! Kano recognized Kuse's trademark squawk immediately. Subject is male. He appears to be carrying a gun. He's fleeing in the direction of Meiji Dori. What? Kano could hardly believe it. Hitomi had been kidnapped? Had she been abducted by whoever had taken Maria? But why? Someone must have been waiting for the moment when the police took their eyes off of her. Something is very wrong here. What in the world is going on? Kano saw that the road forked up ahead. The man with the attaché case ran to the left. The man who'd taken Hitomi was heading towards Meiji-dori. There's a good chance he'd gone down one of the alleyways off to the right. Making a snap judgment, Kano told the detective behind him to follow the case snatcher, then turned and headed down the nearest alley. After darting through the side streets, he spotted a different man, another foreigner, crossing an intersection a few dozen meters ahead. The man was dressed in black, just like the guy who'd grabbed the ransom money. Kuze's right. The kidnapper wasn't acting alone. But wait, something was amiss. Hitomi isn't with him. Where was she? Kano skidded around the corner, then stopped short. The man in black was standing there, pointing a gun right at him. Before Kano could react, the man fired. Kano felt hot all over, as if he were on fire. All except for his cheek, pressed against the asphalt, and the palms of his hands. They felt so cold. There was nothing he could do. Nothing, that is, except lie there and watch, as his killer turned and walked away. Yeah! Shot by a foreigner. All right. By trying to find the man who'd taken Hitomi, Kano ran into a different criminal, and unfortunately for him, he got shot. The criminal hadn't been able to get near Hitomi. She probably wouldn't have been taken. Have Achi make the choice to talk to Hitomi. Oh, okay, it just tells you exactly what. Interesting. All right, so one other thing we wanted to do, right, was back here. We wanted to take. We need to finish Achi's story here, right? We haven't actually finished what Achi does here, and we also want to take the other bad ending here. So I want to. We already know option A will lead to a bad ending, so let's take that now. What kind of person makes a young lady look around something heavy like that? Achi figured he'd offer to carry it for her. The girl kept shifting her grip. It was clearly a strain for her to keep holding the case, but she didn't set it down. Whatever was inside, it had to be something pretty important. Achi made his way over to her, bristling inwardly at whoever had left her waiting like this. If I were you, I'd bust the head of the punk that's kept you waiting. Huh? That thing looks heavy. Let me carry it for you. The girl stared back at Achi with wide eyes, but said nothing. Really, I'm happy to help. I'm not going to steal it or anything. His tone was hurried, and he impulsively reached for the attaché case. An instant later, a group of men descended on him from all sides. How horrible. Kano was shot and turned into that one mimetic Tokyo Ghoul panel. Yeah. Whoa, hey, wait, what the hell? For an instant, Achi froze, unable to process what was happening. He tried to run, but the men shoved him unceremoniously to the ground and held him there. They were shouting about something or other, but he couldn't make out their words. The more he tried to struggle, the harder they held him down. What the hell is this? You can tell us that down at the precinct. A man in a suit knelt alongside him, flashing a police badge. Identifies the bearer as a member of Japanese law enforcement. The old-style badge case included a small notebook for the bearer to write in, but the modern version is modeled after that used by the FBI, where the badge case contains only the badge itself. What? You're arresting me? The heck did I even do? Instead of answering, they shoved Achi into the back seat of a patrol car. He gazed dejectedly out of the window. He could still see the girl. She didn't have the case anymore. Now she was talking to a man with a cane. Was he the person she'd been waiting for? A moment later, the car turned the corner, and the two of them slipped out of view. Achi slumped back into the seat, sulking and silent. Several hours passed. After a bunch of pointless questioning, the police finally determined he was innocent, and his father came to pick him up. For a long while, Achi just stared intently out the window of the car. Finally, his father caught his attention. The old man seemed to be in a surprisingly good mood, despite having to collect his son from the jailhouse. Achi, there's something I want to talk to you about. It's about me taking over the shop. Now is not the time, okay? No, it's not that. Look, let's just get home first. Sure. Don't feel like going out today anyway. But I'm curious, what do you want to talk about? I got some good news. I think you'll be pleased. Not sure I like the sound of that. Don't tell me you're getting remarried or something. Dad, I really don't like the sound of that. And so began a very long conversation. There it is. All right. Number 5, arrested. All right. So now we can take... Now we can take the other route. The one that we're supposed to. I wonder what conversation they're going to have. All right, so let's speed a little ahead here. Because we've already seen this section here, right? This gentleman comes up. And this time we're not going to jump over to the other story, right? Because we've already gone over there and unlocked that bit. So let's... They're going to run by him. Yeah, okay, so we're going to skip the red text there where that would have jumped over. Now let's see what the end of Achi's bit is here. First one. Then another. A third, a fourth, a fifth. Over a dozen now. What the heck? Clearly something big was going down. Were they after the attaché case? Within moments, Achi lost sight of them all through the crowd. With that many people chasing him, the guy with the case was sure to get caught. But wait, what about that girl? Achi turned back around. The girl was still there. She was staring in the direction that the man who'd taken the case had gone, a worried expression on her face. Okay, so we know from the other thing that the correct answer that'll move us forward is the first one here. So let's do this one first and get the bad end, and then we'll come back and... Another crazy day in Shibuya. They had to be shooting a scene for a film on location. It would probably be a mistake to intrude. Yeah, I bet that's what this is. Some TV show about a kidnapping, and the girl has to make a ransom handoff. There's probably some actor lurking around here playing the suave, handsome detective. Achi gave a chuckle and turned away. A soothing breeze blew by as wispy clouds drifted overhead. They picked a nice day for a shoot. Smiling inwardly, he resumed his trash-picking mission, wondering what other surprises the day would hold. A few moments later, he heard a loud bang, and the scramble went into an uproar. Huh! Someone blow a tire? People were running in all directions to see what had made the sound. Maybe they're shooting an action scene now. Achi was a tad bit curious, but he strolled away from the scramble without looking back. Maybe he'd head out to Yotsuya today to stretch his legs a bit. Yotsuya, a neighborhood of the Shinjuku ward in the southeastern part of Tokyo, located approximately 4 kilometers northeast of the Shibuya station. While the numbers 428 in Japanese can be pronounced the same as the syllables for the name Shibuya, they can also be pronounced like the syllables for Yotsuya. Additionally, April 28th is both Shibuya Day and Yotsuya Day, along with Seniors Day. It was best not to get distracted. There was trash that needed collecting. Your future is garbage. All right. So in this time, instead, we have to make a new decision over here, right? So at 10:35, we have to go up and talk to her. So let's go ahead and see. Yeah. Maybe we should talk to her and ask what was going on. Let's go ahead and do that. Achi couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. Maybe he should talk to her and ask what was going on. But just as he was making up his mind, a middle-aged man in a ratty business suit shuffled awkwardly over to her first. Was there something wrong with one of his legs? He was using a cane to walk. Then one of his hands slipped into his jacket pocket. Achi could scarcely believe his eyes. A revolver? Colt, Detective Special, a .38 caliber revolver introduced in 1927 by Colt's Manufacturing Company. a classic example of a snub-nosed revolver. As the name implies, the weapon is frequently carried by detectives, narcotics officers, and the like for self-defense. With a single fluid motion, the man lifted up the gun and pointed it in the girl's direction. He was aiming right for her head. Huh? The girl had noticed the man with the cane now. Seeing the gun pointed right at her, she froze in fear. Hachi didn't hesitate. Breaking into a full run, he tackled the gunman with all of his might. Caught off guard, the man sprawled to the pavement. But the would-be assassin kept hold of his weapon and quickly scrabbled back to his feet. Hachi knew he had to act fast. He grabbed the ashen-faced girl by the arm and attempted to drag her away. "This way!" he shouted. She just stared at him, uncomprehending, trembling like a startled animal. "Come on, run!" Finally, the girl snapped out of her daze and gave a fearful nod. What do we think is going to be the... I think going for the police box is probably going to lead us to a bad end, because the police are already here. The police box, let's go! Still pulling the girl by the hand, Hachi headed for the police box outside the train station. But it was empty. There were always policemen staffing these things. Why did it have to be unmanned now? Hachi flashed a worried glance behind him and saw the assassin in pursuit like a man possessed. Yikes, this is not good! There's nothing they could do but run. With the frightened girl in tow, Hachi ran beneath the JR Yamanote Line railway overpass. The railway loop line that services the Tokyo metropolis. Typically, the morning rush is quite intense, with the stretch from Ueno Station to Okachimachi Station sometimes crowded as high as 216% capacity, roughly 300 people riding in a space designed for 143 passengers. Unrelated to the Yamate Line subway that operates in the city of Kobe. Don't worry, just trust me, he told her. But first... They sped past a convenience store where an employee was cleaning up the sidewalk. Here, take this, will ya? Hachi tossed over the bag of trash. Huh? Wait, what? This way! They slipped through the crowd and into a nearby back alley. But this way's a dead end, the girl said breathlessly. Like I said, just trust me. Stopping abruptly, Hachi kicked down a wooden plank, covering a gap between two buildings, clearing a space that a person could fit through. See? We can get through here! But the girl just stood there looking terrified. What's the matter? Hachi asked. Come on, we gotta hurry! But I... She looked at him as if he too was about to pull a gun on her. He could hardly blame her. After all, he was just some random guy who had turned up out of nowhere. But this was no time for dawdling. The man with the cane appeared at the end of the alley. They just stood there. He was going to catch them. Okay, sweetheart, hear me out, he said in a rush. The name's Hachi Endo. I live in the neighborhood, and I'm not the kind to stand idly by when a girl is being chased by some killer. So please just trust me, and I'll do my best to keep you safe. He hoped the look in his eyes would convince her that he was being on the level. After a painfully long moment, the girl nodded her acceptance. Phew! Right, let's start with this. They had paused beside an enormous stack of beverage crates. The quick shove, Hachi knocked the whole pile down, sending it cascading across their pursuer's path. Now that was a close call. The man with the cane was floundering, struggling to get past the fallen cases. My bad, man, Hachi called out. Mind cleaning that up for me? The man scowled back at them and fumbled for his gun. Hachi flashed him a wave goodbye that slipped away between the buildings with the girl. Man, this story... You pointed out earlier, I believe, Henri, but yeah, this game really kind of leans into the camp, doesn't it? It needs to. FMV is fundamentally a silly format, fundamentally a very silly way of doing a game, but I fucking love it so far. Hurrying down a narrow alley, they emerged onto a side street lined with dive bars and clubs. Assuming the man with the cane hadn't given up, he would probably lie in wait on the path back to the main road. Hachi decided their best bet was to try to stay inconspicuous rather than risk getting caught on the move. Guess we can lie low here for a bit, he said. He led the girl to the entrance of the tiny old Hostess Club. She followed him reluctantly. Achi flicked the switch inside the front door, and a chintzy chandelier glowed to life. He set the girl down on the small sofa beside the counter. She gave him a worried look. Achi felt a pang of embarrassment as he realized what she must be thinking. Oh no, don't get the wrong idea. I'm not going to try any funny business. Someone I know used to run this place. It's not in business anymore, so I figure we're safe here. The girl chuckled at his evident discomfort. All right then, she said. So, we good? We're good. Okay, well, good. Achi made a vague attempt to straighten his disheveled clothes. So, how about some introduction? Oh, fucking sound novels. So, how about some introductions? I'm Achi Endo. Like I said earlier, you can just call me Achi. I'm Hitomi Osawa. You can call me Hitomi, I guess. With each new word out of Hitomi's mouth, Achi felt his heart sing. She was charming, personable, just about everything about her was captivating. Achi had never met another girl like her. Is it wrong to pick up girls in a kidnapping scenario? Achi? Huh? Is something the matter? You were spacing out there for a bit. Achi shook his head to dispel his daze. Damn it! This is no time to get all starry-eyed! He needed to think of some way to keep her safe from the guy who was after her. Look, can you tell me what the heck is going on? Please, I need to know if I'm going to help you. Right, okay. I'm not really sure where to begin. Sorry, miss, that's just the Ushiromiya family curse. The what now? Hitomi looked down, lost in thought. Apparently hers was a long story. All right, she said at last. I guess I'll just explain things as they happened. Wait, hold up. Could you keep it as simple as you can? I mean, I'm not really the sharpest tool in the shed. Complicated explanations ain't exactly my strong suit. Okay, Hitomi chuckled. I'll try my best. She got comfortable, and then she started her story. So, last night, somebody abducted my sister. The kidnapper demanded that I make the ransom handoff personally. He told me to stand by the statue of Hachiko in Shibuya at 10 o'clock in the morning to make the exchange. So I did, and this man came by and took the attaché case with the money, and then afterwards the other guy with the cane turned up and pointed his gun at me and... Whoa! I'm sorry, hold up a sec. It advanced by itself there, by the way. Achi had suddenly lost the thread of the conversation. At times like this, you can press up to go back and reread what you've already seen. You can also press down to quickly scroll back through sections you've already read. A mark will appear in the upper left corner of the screen while you're paging back and forth like this. You can press the X to reread the marked page. Oh, so that's your tutorial for going back. Got it. Could you say that again, but like simpler? I mean, sure. I'm just having trouble following is all. I mean, is this the plot to some movie or soap opera? No, that's not. Or some kind of hidden camera show? This is real. This really happened. The look in Hitomi's eyes was dead serious. She's got to be telling the truth. What would be the point of lying? And he had seen the attaché case and the gunman himself. How much was the ransom, if you don't mind my asking? Hitomi hesitated. 50 million yen, she said after a moment. Achi gave a whistle of amazement. The detectives told me that was a typical amount for a kidnapper to ask for. It's plenty, that's for sure. Guess there's good money in this sort of thing. As soon as the words were out, he realized his blunder. Sorry, I shouldn't have put it that way. He fidgeted awkwardly, and Hitomi looked away. I'm an idiot, but okay, I think I get this kidnapping thing. So, I'm guessing those guys who chased the guy who took the ransom were undercover cops? He replayed the scene in his head. But then, the kidnapper took the attaché case and ran, right? So if you were empty-handed, why'd that guy with the cane come after you? I'm honestly not sure. Hitomi's words trailed off. This was clearly difficult for her to talk about. Anyway, we should probably get you to the police as soon as we... No, we can't do that. Hitomi's tone was resolute. I can't take this to the police. Why not? Achi waited for an answer, but none came. After long and awkward silence, she stood up from her seat. I really appreciate the help, but I should go now. She gave Achi a deep bow. Nuh-uh. Hold on. What do you mean go? Go where? He hurried to intervene as she headed for the door. I don't want to cause you any more trouble. I'll figure out the rest on my own, somehow. Hey, I said hold on! Hitomi ignored him and opened the door, and their argument came to an abrupt halt. Standing there was the man with the cane, his revolver in his hand. Damn! To be continued. What? What do you mean to be continued? What does that mean? Achi Endo's 10 o'clock story ends here. However, Shinya Kano still has more to do. Read along further in Kano's story. Oh, I see. So they divvy it, they block it off at 1 hour increments to make sure that you don't get like. Okay, that's really cool, actually. So this should be different now, right? According to the other ending? The man darted down a narrow alleyway. Kano ran faster. The man sprinted through the side streets. Evidently, he knew his way around Shibuya pretty well. The man shot out onto a major thoroughfare, then bolted up a pedestrian bridge. Just where the heck was this guy heading? Okay, so I guess the change here is that we no longer went after the other guy, but now we followed the original suspect ourselves. Halfway across the bridge, the man stopped abruptly. Cautious, Kano stopped as well. Yo! Height, roughly 190 centimeters. Age, 30s. Hair, dark brown. Clothing, all black. A moment later, the man flashed a triumphant sneer as he held up the attaché case. Before Kano could even yell stop, it was already too late. The man threw the attaché case down onto the roadway below. No! Panicking, Kano peered over the railing. A man on a motorcycle was waiting beneath the bridge. I've been had. Kano bit his lip hard. Damn it! Kano sprinted back down the bridge. Hearing the bike's engine roar to life, he had to make it in time. Descending the stairs 4 at a time, he leapt toward the roadway, but the bike sped out of reach and roared away in the direction of Yoyogi, leaving Kano in its dust. Looking back up at the overpass, he saw the man who'd thrown the attaché case running away. He handed the money off to someone else. He's currently on a motorcycle heading toward Yoyogi. His report to Kuze complete. Kano slumped down in dismay. The cops had played right into the criminal's hands. Now the crooks were getting away and people's lives were in danger. Was there any greater failure for a policeman? Staring off into the distance where the man who'd thrown the case had disappeared, Kano gritted his teeth. You see, the kidnapping industry is hiring vampires now. Yeah, it is. To be continued. All right, we made it to 4 with the next hour with both of them. You finished reading both character stories for the hour of 10 o'clock. In 428, you'll make your way through all the protagonist's stories in parallel like this. Once everyone has reached the end of a given hour, the next hour can begin. Okay, that's kind of how I figured. Oh, yeah. Yeah, give me this. Give me this. This is the good shit right here. Oh, yes. Oh, this is the good shit. I don't know about all y'all, but I am absolutely on board right now. This is the end of the tutorial for this part of the story. You can reread previous tutorial messages via the main menu. There's a lot of important info in there, so reread it closely. Now, 428 has reached the 11 o'clock time block. You have 5 protagonists available. Whose story will you read first? Well, I don't know about y'all, but the first thing I need to do is scroll around the so I can see all of their sprites move whenever I... Oh, that's so good. Y'all, I am so, like, I love this. I could just... I could just look at the fucking stop motion movement for hours. That's so good. All right. We're going to take a quick break here. We're about an hour and a half in. Okay, yeah. It'll be a little bit of a shorter stream today, but that's fine. I need to take a break and get a new cup of coffee anyway. I'm going to take 10. While I'm gone, y'all know the drill. Stand up and walk around for a bit. Drink some water. Eat some food. Take your meds if you haven't yet today. All those little things you got to do to take care of yourself. Could watch that for hours. Yeah, I could too, Pokey. I'll be back in about 10 minutes, and when I come back, we'll pick someone else's story to read. So if you've got a character that looked interesting to you, let me know. See y'all in a bit. I'm back. Brought a cup of coffee with me. Oh yeah, that shit tastes like it was made from a pod. All right. Let's. So, I'm noticing a couple of things here. We got, Achi and Kano, right, as usual. We got a couple of new faces as well. Tama stands out as being slightly different from the others. There's Osawa. We don't know anything about... I don't think we heard that name come up yet. And Minorikawa. That name has also not come up yet. Boom. All right. Let's see. As tempting as it is to go immediately for someone we don't know yet, I think maybe we should stick with one of the characters whose story we already know. At least for right now. So let's start with Kano. The fucking zoom in. Oh, I love it. I love it. Ah. I can eat that shit up all day. As he wandered through the back alleys, Kano gritted his teeth. Going after the guy on the bike had been a bad judgment call, but the one that we needed to advance. So, also, I can't. I don't know if any other visual novels before it have I've. This is only the second game I've played that kind of uses this multiple protagonist rotating joist thing. The game I played, the other game I played that used this similar device was 13 Sentinels. Hey Mosca, welcome to the stream. What are you looking at? What the hell you're looking at? You're looking at the best game ever, my friend. You're looking at 428 should be a scramble. But yeah, it reminds me of 13 Sentinels, even though 13 Sentinels obviously came out like a decade after this game did.
I've never seen the graphic style of this, and it's wonderful.
Wait, you didn't know that this was what?
I didn't know it was what it looked like at all.
Oh, hi Viv. Yeah, it's all live action FMV stuff.
That's really wonderful.
Fucking amazing is what it is. You should.
Also, isn't it the only game that Famitsu gave a perfect score to or something, or one of the only games?
I don't know if that's true, but I believe it. This game is perfect.
Yeah, it's officially the perfect game. It's official.
It absolutely is. It leans into like how camp it should be for an FMV game. By the time he got back up onto the pedestrian overpass, the man who'd thrown the attaché case was almost out of sight. Kano prided himself on being fleet of foot, but he knew even he would never catch the guy before he disappeared. He'd follow the culprit as far as the alleys, but there he'd lost him completely. All he could do now was hope one of his colleagues caught the man on the motorcycle. Kuze's voice crackled through the earpiece. Oh shit, he's got AirPods in! Instead of introducing the pro tags one by one, they gave you the 2 for the tutorial and then just said, here, have 3 more of these fuckers, right? Here, have more of them. Mobile Command Center calling... Oh, no, this is Kuze. Mobile Command Center calling all units. The suspect on the motorcycle has handed off the case to an accomplice in Miyashita Park, another foreigner. For real? Kano muttered. One thing immediately struck him as strange. Why hand the case off to someone else at all? Why not just escape on the bike? The man with the motorcycle dumped the bike and fled on foot. We've retrieved the bike and run the plate, and we've determined it was a stolen vehicle. We still don't have enough details to positively ID the suspect. The suspect now carrying the attaché case is heading through Dogenzaka, also on foot. We've got him under observation. This attack is throwing a ball of AirPods at the enemy. There it is. The advanced police communication system is carefully maintained. By using the digital wireless systems in their patrol cars, officers are able to directly access the station's computer network, allowing them to quickly check to see if an individual is on the wanted list or if a vehicle is stolen. Do we need to remind you this game came out in 2008? We need tips for this shit. Dogenzaka, huh? That wasn't too far from where Kano was now. Looks like we're dealing with a foreign crime syndicate that's familiar with Shibuya. Oh, this is... all units head to Dogenzaka. But do not, I repeat, do not attempt to apprehend the suspect with the case. Let's see where he goes. Kano nodded to himself. Without knowing more about the crook's MO, letting this guy go for now was probably the only right call. I just want to let you all know one last thing. Kuze's tone grew more solemn. Whatever happens, I know I can count on each and every one of you. Do not disappoint me. Over and out. Kano had the unsettling feeling that the message had been meant for him. Right, it's now or never. The sudden appearance of this syndicate and its bizarre actions were rapidly moving things beyond the jurisdiction of both the MPD and the local police. Mustering his resolve, Kano headed for Dogenzaka. Was he in front of... Is that the tower record? No, it's not. It's got the big yellow pole. Yeah, that 2008-ass flip phone. Woo! Kano pulled his cell phone out of his pocket. Yeah, he did. Oh, man. Okay, Eskay true real fact time. I had a flip phone until 2018. Vivian, when did I finally get a smartphone? Because it was a big deal when I finally got a smartphone, right?
Was it after I did?
It was definitely after you did, yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't get one until, like, I think, like, 2016 or 2017. So
right.
That sounds about right. The years would have been
2018. It's after I started my last job at the bookstore. But hasn't been that. Yeah, I think 2018, 2019, maybe at the latest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a late adopter. The only crime this game has committed so far is that we haven't seen best character Sasayama in a while. True! True! I finally remember my Nokia had Sudoku in. Yeah. Kano picked his cell phone out of his pocket. It was Rumi calling. She knew full well he wasn't supposed to take private calls while he was working a case. Maybe it was an emergency? He decided to pick up. Rumi? I'm so sorry. Are you in the middle of something right now? Kind of. Is this an emergency? Yeah. So I'm in Shibuya right now, and, Shibuya? Why did you have to be in Shibuya now, of all times? So my father came down from Nagano all of a sudden. What? Rumi's father, Shizuo, had been staunchly opposed to the two of them getting married. Kano had visited his home many times, but the man had never deigned to meet him. Yeah. He told me to tell you he wants to meet with you. What? Now? Kano blurted the words out with more alarm than he'd intended. I told him you were busy working, but he said he'd wait. This can't be happening, Kano whimpered to himself. I'm sorry, I know I can be demanding. That's not the issue. Her dad offering to wait made it harder for him to be refused. All right, Kano said, but I have to call you back later, okay? Really, I'm sorry. I'll be at a cafe called Lautrec. Lautrec. Just by the train station? Rumi hung up. Bold of them to put an actual number on the display, though, right? Like, that takes some balls to put an actual number there that people might try to dial. Oh, hey, it also gives you... I was about to say, oh, hey, look, it gives you the date the game takes place on. And then I noticed. Game takes place on April 28th. 4/28. Of course it does. And the timestamp on the phone is also accurate to when this takes place in the game, at just after 11 o'clock. It's a phone sex line, you just know it. I'm sure someone has checked on this. This is like immediately my new favorite VN. As if keeping up with the case wasn't stressful enough. At last he stumbled into motion. But even as he scoured Dogenzaka for any sign of the criminal, his mind remained fixed on the meeting with Rumi's dad. There was no way of knowing when he'd be done with his casework today. But could he really pass up on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get her father's approval for her hand in marriage? Odds are that this will not be the only once-in-a-lifetime experience Detective Kano winds up having today. Thank you, snarky tip section. I appreciate the tip section being super snarky. Maybe he could just slip away for a bit. There were plenty of detectives still tailing the suspect. Taking 15 minutes or so to meet with Shizuo wouldn't be such a big deal, would it? Sound novel proves that FMV games can be art sometimes. I I really love the idea of FMV games, but you can definitely see why they are so few and far between. I think this is all the better for it. What do we think is the wrong choice here? I think this is our big chance. We should go meet with Rumi and Shizuo while we can. It's now or never, Kano decided. His future happiness depended on winning over Shizuo. He might not have the opportunity later if the kidnapping case wound up going south. He'd just have to make sure he didn't linger for too long. Trying to decide the best way to save as much time as possible when he caught sight of a taxi passing by. He stepped out into the street to flag the cab down. The station wasn't too far away, but it would be faster to take a car than run there. The next taxi screeched to a halt. "Careful, buddy," the cab driver shouted through the open window. "You're gonna get yourself killed." Looking more closely, Kano saw that there was already someone in the back seat. Oh, crap. He hadn't considered that the cab might be already taken. Still, he didn't have time to wait for another one to come along. Kano leaned in close to the back door of the taxi. "Please, I need you to let me have this cab." Beggars couldn't be choosers after all. "No way," snapped the passenger. He didn't seem the genial type. "Please, I'm begging you here." "Look, I'm in a hurry, pal. Get your own cab." "I know how ridiculous this must sound, but please, this is really, really urgent." "Urgent? It's a matter of life or death, please." "Look, I'm sorry, but I'm dealing with something urgent here, too." "Then let me ride with you. I'll pay for the whole fare. My entire future's on the line here." "Sorry, buddy. It's life or death on my end, too. I gotta look after me and mine." Kano could see this was going nowhere. "Right. So sorry to trouble you." Kano stepped back in frustration. The taxi sped away. Kano scanned the area, looking for other cabs. Instead, he spotted the man with the attaché case. Don't tell me that this was the actual right option, because being delayed by trying to get a cab meant, oh, this guy walked by. That's fucking hilarious. "Sir, pointing is rude." Points harder. "Pointing fingers gets us nowhere, Steve." It was a stroke of dumb luck, but Kano wasn't going to lose sight of him now. He decided to follow. Further up along Dogenzaka, in the direction the perp was heading, was where Yamate Dori joined Route 246. Maybe the guy was planning to meet up with the getaway car. No, wait, hold on. If that were the plan, why would the gang have ditched the motorcycle earlier? Kano started tailing the man, racking his brain all the while. The suspect turned down a narrow side road. He wasn't heading toward Yamate Dori or Route 246 at all, but back toward Shibuya Station. What in the world was going on? It was starting to feel like the crooks were just messing with the investigation team. Kano radioed Kuze on the wireless. "Sir, I don't think there's any point in seeing where this guy leads us anymore." "That's not your call to make. Keep watching him." "Sir, this is a waste of time. That girl might be in danger if..." Kano's argument was cut short as he saw the man hand off the attaché case to yet another foreigner. "Wireless. The police wireless system is digital in order to make transmissions more difficult to intercept." You know what? Funnily enough, I think that's actually the opposite now. Would it be? Well, no, I actually don't know much about it. I imagine, like, it's got to be, given the technology we have now, it has to be, like, easier to do it that if it's a digital signal, right? Maybe. I'm talking on my ass. There are several different channels available, including the basic local channel, a common channel for contacting other nearby patrol cars, channels assigned to specific precincts, action update channels for riot squads, and so on. There's also a separate channel specifically for kidnapping cases, not on the standard wavelengths. Something about the standard wavelengths has this very, like, early cyberpunk feel to it. I couldn't tell you why. Again? How many times were these criminals going to pull this trick? The detectives broke into two groups to follow both of them. Wait, what does that dude's shirt say? I can't read it from here, but that dude's shirt says something in English. Kano followed the man with the attaché case, who eventually led him back to the area around Shibuya Station. Rumi and Shizuo would be waiting at a nearby cafe right now. Kano tried to remember the name. That's right, it was called La Trek. The name of the cafe where college student Ryoko Kakanuma works as a waitress. Named after 19th century French painter Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec. He created numerous works, including many posters, book illustrations, and book covers, which are highly regarded in the art world. He kept his eye out for a place by that name as he tailed the target. Before long, he did spot the cafe. Its large plate glass window offered a view of the cozy interior. The sign out front read, Le Trek. He looked like this was the place. The man with the case was at the intersection waiting for the light to change. Kano took the opportunity to peer inside. He spotted Rumi right away. She was facing away from him, so the man seated across from her must be her father. Kano realized he'd never seen a picture of him. Shizuo grew organic produce up in Nagano nowadays, but until 2 years ago he'd been a detective within the investigation division. Rumi looked up to her father for his distinguished police career, and always spoke quite highly of him. MPD Investigative Division, responsible for handling crimes such as murder, kidnapping, and arson that take place within Tokyo metropolis. Truly exceptional officers are assigned to this division. They are regularly dispatched to various regional task forces to aid in investigations, where their talents and experience often prove critical. The position of Section Chief is traditionally given only to dedicated personnel well-versed with crime scenes and organizational administration. Kano had figured that if he became a policeman, Rumi might appreciate that. It was this simple impulse that had led him to join the force. He'd also figured that a public servant could stay afloat even in times of recession, and that his physical training would serve him well in such a line of work. Standard wavelengths also sounds like something you'd hear from some vibration quantum healer who will detoxify you through your monitor. That too, yes, also that. I'm just thinking it has like the kind of thing that someone would say as a throwaway line in a Gibson novel. That's what made me think of that. It's something that someone would say to talk big, without really saying anything at all. You can't only be on the standard wavelengths if you want to hack with the best, Council Cowboy. Once he was a policeman, he thought, he could approach Shizuo with his head held high and ask for his blessing in marrying his daughter. But after Rumi graduated from university, Shizuo had up and retired from police work. Even Rumi didn't know why he'd made the decision. Kano had traveled to Nagano many times to ask Shizuo for permission to marry her. But the only response he'd ever got was, "I'm not giving away my daughter to any cop." Kano had never even gotten past the intercom before her father turned him away. Years on the force had nearly based, but probably for the wrong reasons. Years on the force had nearly made Kano lose sight of what had driven him to become a policeman in the first place. And now the chance to meet Shizuo face to face had finally come. He peered intently into the cafe. Across from Rumi sat an older man with a grim expression. Just who was this hard-faced fellow? Took a lot to rattle Kano, but the guy looked scary. Could this really be his sweet little Rumi's father? The prospect of meeting with him later filled Kano with sudden dread. The man went into the JR Shibuya station and stood before the ticket machine. Looked like he was planning on boarding a train. A scene from a popular movie about a kidnapping sprang into Kano's mind, where the crook had made off with the ransom money after it was tossed out the window of a train. What if this guy managed to get outside this dragnet and pulled a stunt like that? Looks like the suspect is going to board a train, Kano informed Kuze over the wireless. Make sure you stay on his tail. Apparently Kuze still wanted to string the perp along for a bit. We've got the lizards ready to pursue. We'll re-establish our dragnet around whatever station he gets off at. Japanese lingo for motorcycle squads, deployed to pursue suspects in urban settings. The man purchased a ticket from the machine and passed through the gate. There was no way to tell what station he'd bought a ticket for, but it looked like he was heading for clockwise along the Yamanote line loop. Kano used his prepaid card and made his way through the ticket gate as well. Officers do not actually get free rides on public transportation simply by flashing their badges, as is frequently depicted on TV shows and films. Doing so might risk alerting the suspect. For this reason, prepaid cards are provided ahead of time. Fair? An announcement chime signaled the imminent arrival of a train up on the platform. The man made his way up the stairs, looking calm and composed. He showed no sign of checking for pursuers. Kano hurried after him. The man stopped at the very edge of the platform to await the train. Not ideal. There was no way for Kano to get close without sticking out like a sore thumb. The train glided up to the platform. The man gave a quick look around as he stepped aboard. Kano followed. Trains on the Yamanote line didn't stop for long, and soon they were on their way. Glancing around, Kano noticed other MPD investigators who had slipped aboard the train as well. The suspect stood behind the driver's compartment, staring contemplatively at the scenery outside. The man's composure only served to rattle Kano more. A man in a gaudy necktie walked past Kano, talking on his cell phone. "Yes, everything's going fine on this end," he said. "There's no need to worry." In his other hand, he carried the same sort of attaché case as the man they were tailing. He headed right toward the driver's compartment and stood next to the suspect. Well, now that sounds suspicious. Kano leaned his head subtly, straining to make out what he could hear of the phone conversation at the other end of the car. "Yeah, of course. 225 pages, all fully proofread." 225. Article 225 of the Penal Code for Japan details kidnapping for profit and kidnapping for ransom. Accordingly, 225 is police shorthand for kidnapping. Sensible. That was police jargon for kidnapping. Okay, well, if you're just going to tell me, why give me the tip? Was this guy in cahoots with the kidnapper? Maybe the criminals had planned an attaché case swap. Kano watched the newcomer like a hawk. But rather than making contact with the suspect, the man turned around and strolled back the way he'd come. He hadn't done anything suspicious at all. "Yeah, right. Understood." Kano stole a glimpse of the man's face as he passed. He stopped and looked at Kano, seemingly aware that he was being watched. Kano decided to. "Well, hello there. Look at this. Let's stare him down to assert our dominance." Kano decided to stare him down. "My apologies," the man said. He shut his phone with a click. "No, it's rather rude to talk on one's cell phone when you're on a train. It's just common decency." The man affected a smile, then headed back to the car from which he'd come. Sheesh. Guess I overreacted. "You gotta stop staring at everyone," an oddly dressed passenger murmured into Kano's ear. "Blend into your surroundings more." Who was asking for... "Henri, you want more Sasayama? We got him." "Gotta stop staring at everyone," an oddly dressed passenger murmured into Kano's ear. "Blend into your surroundings more." "Sasayama, when did you get here?" That face? It's a good face! His partner had somehow found time to change his disguise. The steely expression on his face was at odds with his anime nerd getup. Kano had seen Sasayama disguise himself as plenty of things throughout the years. It's quite rare for Sasayama to actually wear a suit. On the rare occasions when he does, and he's walking the halls of his home precinct, he frequently goes unrecognized. Here are some of Sasayama's costume designs from his evidence notebook. "Santa is a must for Christmas. Stakeouts with a smile. Keep presents in bag to calm down children in case of emergency. Use this for train stakeouts. Don't forget awkward smile. Bag of merch. Going too far. Filled with posters and figurines. Glasses are crucial. Prized possession clutched to chest. Point is to draw attention in crowded train cars. Tragic expression. Sunglasses. Suit and posture amplify wild animal side. Disguise for stakeouts at dockside warehouses. Let coworkers know beforehand so as not to be mistaken for real thing. Handcuffs up sleeves. Arrest crooks while practicing discipline. Might help to stop funeral robbers. For nighttime stakeouts. Hardcore material. Plenty of exposure. Emphasize business bulginess in final version. My man! Doubles as stakeout clothes and pickup getup, right? I'm glad that they made this some dude's thing for this game. Chef, magician, samurai, and an astronaut to name a few, but this was a new extreme even for him. When he first joined the force, Kano had found Sasayama's costuming antics amusing, wondering where he managed to find his outfits, but lately his quirk had become tedious. You like the ocean? Huh? Never mind. Sasayama pulled a small bottle from his breast pocket. Burning hammer. Drink this while you can. Guessing you haven't eaten. Huh? What is this? Least I could do. He handed Kano the bottle, then slipped away into the next compartment. Emphasize bulginess? Always. He'd pulled an all-nighter and hadn't eaten, so he was glad to have something. He took a sip. Whatever this was, it was bland. It almost didn't taste like anything. Just what had Sasayama given him. What the heck? Anything's better than nothing. He brought the bottle to his lips and chugged the contents down. He suddenly got a massive head rush. He felt a heat like a burning that spread from his insides throughout his whole body. No, that wasn't right. It was an ache. It was a ferocious ache. A burning that spread from his insides into his fingertips, and there was pain. A numbing that spread from his insides all the way down to his toes. Burning, aching, hurting, burning, aching, hurting, burning, aching, hurting, twitchy, itchy, dizzy, sleepy, chilly, willy-nilly. This was not good. This was super-duper not good. He broke into a cold sweat, his forehead drenched, his body damp and clammy all over. He felt his grip on consciousness slipping. Sasayama, what the hell did you do to me? With bleary eyes, he squinted to read the writing on the bottle. Burn. After a scant few letters, Kano blacked out. End of Evangelion, eat your heart out. Yep. The least he could do, huh? Oh, shit, I wanted to look at the... Nah, we won't look at the hints unless we need them. Wow! Rude, dude. All right. So we fucking died. Here we go. Pre-sample of something called Burning Hammer. But don't blame Sasayama. He was just passing along the sample he got from someone in a mascot costume. Ah, I see. Okay. What if we tried... Okay, so we got a bunch of different inflection points here, right? All right, so... Because we... could have decided whether or not to head to the cafe. Right, okay, yeah. What was the other? And then the other point was whether or not to stare at him. Okay. We could either stare at him, or we could just not head directly to the cafe. My man really just made Kano all hot and bothered, the self-confidence, right? Let's try this other option here first. No, right now I got a job to focus. Okay, so I think this one might put us off the trail because staying is what led us to keeping an eye on the meeting up again with a man with an attaché case. No, right now I've got a job to focus on. Kano shook his head to clear out the foolish impulses. What the hell had he been thinking? A girl's life was on the line. Marrying Rumi was more important to him than anything, but now wasn't the time. Besides, now that he had thought about it, running out on a critical investigation to meet with the old man probably wasn't going to score him any points. Rumi's dad didn't strike him as someone who'd approve of shirking one's responsibilities. Kano would just have to wrap up this kidnapping case a little ahead of schedule. Then he could have a proper sit-down with Shizuo. As he considered his plan, he caught sight of the man with an attaché case walking by. Oh, we still catch up with him this way. Okay. Is there a fast forward through hold for speed up. Got it. Okay. I wonder if... Okay, so I don't think anything is going to be different here. Because this looks like it just... It said it's a branching point, but... We're just kind of getting put right back in the same thing here. Right, and then... This is all... Okay, this is all the same. Because that didn't seem to change anything. So let's go back here and try picking a different decision here. Let's look away nonchalantly. But his anxiety got the better of him, and after a moment he turned his gaze right back. Soon the two men were locked in a staring contest. Okay, so that's the same thing. Okay. So this is going to be the same thing. Yeah. Okay. Bring me to the time chart. Okay, cool. So maybe those decisions will change if we make other decisions in a different place. But for right now, let's pick a different character too. There's Minorikawa, who's got a fucking motorcycle. All right. There's Asawa, who's got a good sound system there. There's Tama, back in the scramble, it looks like. And then there's Achi. Let's catch back up with Achi. Let's see what Achi's up to. And then Achi died. The man with the cane aimed his gun at Hitomi, his face devoid of emotion. Please, the girl said, trembling. Why are you doing this? But the man did not reply. Quickly, Achi stepped in between Hitomi and the gun, spreading his arms wide. Stop, he said in English, one of the few English words he knew. He quickly reverted back to Japanese. Who the hell are you? Still, the man did not respond. You know this guy, Hitomi? No. Achi was sure he'd never seen the man either. What are you after? Money? 'Cause if you are, boy, you're wasting your time chasing us. The man furrowed his brow, adjusting the point of his aim to Achi's face. His bloodthirsty gaze left Achi no doubt that he was willing to pull the trigger. Reflexively, Achi took a step back, his foot clattering against a discarded beer bottle. We're gonna get gunned down for sure, unless we can find some way to catch this guy off guard. It didn't need to be much. If Achi could just distract the gunman for a moment, buy himself the briefest window. Shoot me then, go on, do it! He stepped forward as he shouted, hoping the provocation would confuse the guy for just long enough. Even as Achi moved, the gunman's attention was distracted for an instant by a sudden sound. The phone in his breast pocket was ringing. Seeing his chance, Achi. Oh, we got a lot of options here. Okay. Grabbing Hitomi and running probably just leads to us dying, right? Hitomi! Achi grabbed Hitomi and ran. He charged the man into the doorway, kicking at the cane as he leaned on. The assassin lost his balance and stumbled to the left. Run! Still holding Hitomi's hand, Achi rushed out of the club. The two sprinted away through the side streets and alleys of Shibuya. Achi began to feel as if they were running through some maddening maze. Quick, make the guy litter. Achi needs the power of mean clean. Yeah, he does. Before long, the two had made it almost as far as Aoyama. Wait up. Huh? Oh, hold on. Achi, wait up. Achi glanced back at Hitomi. Oh, my bad. Guess we've been running pretty hard. You tired? Hitomi shook her head. No, it's just... I have to get to Dogenzaka. Dogenzaka? What for? What could she possibly need to do there now? That's what I was told when I handed over the attaché case. The man leaned in to whisper to Hitomi as he reached out for the case. You're going to do exactly as I tell you. 2 things. He wore a cool, feigned smile as if this were some casual conversation. First, you're going to go to Dogenzaka and get in the blue van there. Hitomi nodded wordlessly. Second, you will not attempt to contact either the police or your family in the meantime. His bone-chilling tone brooked no argument. Just those 2 things, and we'll let your sister go. Hitomi nodded again. The man flashed her a big, bright grin. Okay, then. Give me the money. A blue van in Dogenzaka, huh? Achi muttered. So that's why you said the police were a no-go? Yes, exactly. Hitomi's voice betrayed her desperation. I wonder if your sister's in that van, then. If she is, then we gotta hurry. Littering is Achi's anti-porno mag, right? Whatever makes Date do porno mag is... Yeah, I get you. The issue lay in how to get to Dogonzaka. They could probably avoid their pursuer if they kept to streets only the locals usually knew about. That meant staying off the more well-trafficked routes like Roppongi Dori or the stretch between Miyamasuzaka and the station. The side roads south of the station were their best bet. It was going to be a long detour. All right, come on! Turning, Achi headed back the way they'd come. After a moment's confusion, Hitomi followed. Achi? There was a note of worry in her voice. Hey, don't sweat it! I actually live in Dogonzaka. We're heading right back to my old neighborhood. Hitomi bowed her head. Thank you so much. Hey, it's no problem. I had to head home anyway. Achi gave her a grin, and she cracked a tiny smile of her own. Hey, you two. Got a minute? Achi looked around. A pair of men approached from across the street. There was something shady looking about them. Achi's protective instincts kicked in, and he stepped in front of Hitomi. If these guys meant trouble, he wanted to be ready. I just want to ask you something. The younger of the two men drew in closer, a sharp gleam in his eye. Achi braced himself. Ask us what? You know where the Nokane building is? The man held up a flyer. It was for some sort of health food sales demo. Come on, man, the Nokane building. You know where it is or not? Achi knew the name. Wasn't that one of the buildings on Center Guy? That was near Dogonzaka, the same direction he was going. Let's help him out. Let's help him out. No harm in helping a couple lost dudes. Achi pointed them in the direction of Center Guy. Yeah, it's just this way. See, what the hell did I tell you? The bald man snapped at his companion. My bad, man, my bad. You were right. God, you couldn't find your way out of a paper bag with a map and a compass. I said my bad, man. Get us a taxi. Word. Yo, thanks, man. The strangers nodded at Achi. Sorry to bug ya. With that, the two headed off toward the main road. Turns out this gets two characters killed somehow, right? Oh, man, I'm already loving this. I feel like I'm not taking enough time to kind of just... Oh, this shot is so nice. Oh, hold on. That's a good shot. Also, I recognize this area from Neo Tui. So, I've got that kind of brain rot. A plot more complex than a Zero Escape game. There you go. Achi and Hitomi hurried onward, following the sparsely trafficked side streets toward Dogonzaka. I don't think I even knew this part of Shibuya was here, Hitomi said as she looked around. Yeah, a lot of people don't. Used to mess around in this neighborhood when I was a kid. The area was a mishmash of rundown residences and office buildings. Almost nobody ever comes here unless they live or work on one of these streets. And check it out over there, a rare first-hand glimpse of the Shibuya River. A minor river that runs from the Miyamasu Bridge to the Tengen Bridge, depicted in the 36 views of Mount Fuji by Edo period ukiyo-e artist Hokusai. In Hokusai's time, fireflies were collected from the Shibuya River and presented to the shogun, lending credence to the idea that the river was indeed clean in the past. Oh fuck, it's the Tui thing that's blocked by a barrier. Exactly, it's the Tui thing that's blocked by a barrier. Gonna have to eliminate some noise if we want to get inside there. I feel bad that I've got the brain rot where all I can do is compare the locations to places I know from JRPGs, but so it goes, right? I'm not the one setting every urban fantasy JRPG within Tokyo. The type of weird that might recognize Japanese landmarks. I know, right? I know. Have you always lived in Shibuya, Achi? Yep, born and raised. Achi bent down to pick up a piece of trash from the roadside. That's why I do this. It just pisses me off to see folks that make a mess of this place. He picked up another piece of trash. I don't have a job, so I just pick up garbage every day. Man, what am I even doing? Like, cleanup even matters right now. Hitomi took a long, hard look at his face. What? He demanded. What is it? You're a strange one, Achi. That's so. She was right, of course. It was sort of strange collecting trash every day instead of getting a job. He had his reasons for it, but they weren't important right now. Right now, the important thing was getting Hitomi to Dogonzaka. Come on, he murmured. A sudden, angry shout broke the silence as they hurried along. Hey, hold it right there. Achi and Hitomi stopped, but the shout wasn't directed at them. Further up the road, a group of thuggish-looking men were having some kind of argument. The man who was shouting had grabbed one of the others by the neck. Idiots, and you still got the gall to call yourselves SOS. SOS, the Studs of Shibuya. Yeah, they are. A youth gang operating out of Shibuya, founded by Achi Endo. Its current leader is Susumu Nishizawa. Wait, so these are our people? Because this is Achi, right? Achi's group. I mean, yeah, Susumu, but the other man standing around looked distinctly uncomfortable. It takes money to run an organization. No, I know, and since it's not like you're Achi or nothing, I thought you could maybe spare some help on that front, boss. Hitomi looked at Achi when the stranger spoke his name. He smiled awkwardly, then turned back to the altercation. Shut your mouth, Susumu barked. How dare you say Achi's name in my presence? The Chads of Shibuya, a Sigma production. Hey! Achi called out. What was that all about me? As soon as they saw him, the other men went pale. Achi kept his tone casual as he strolled up to the group. Susumu, you can't just give the guy a beatdown in broad daylight. A beatdown, to mess with someone up super bad, usually with punches and kicks. Don't want to shock the upstanding people of our fair city. Achi, Susumu glared. Can we drop the pleasantries? Aight, Achi replied with a hint of a sneer. You got it, Susumu. And I would like to point out we're not on a first-name basis. With that, Susumu turned and stalked away. His buddies followed suit, leaving Achi and Hitomi alone again. Did you know that guy? Hitomi asked. His name's Susumu Nishizawa. And yeah, I know him. Or I thought I did. Used to be friends. Way back. A long time ago. We used to be friends, but I haven't thought of him lately. Me and those guys were all part of the same crew, but I bailed a little while ago. Achi fell silent. To his great relief, Hitomi didn't pry further. This is not going how I thought it would go. Achi and Hitomi had gone a short distance further when he caught sight of a man picking something up alongside the train tracks. Huh, I wonder. Achi went over to him. Hey man, you picking up trash by any chance? Huh? The man let out a panicked shout. Taisei Yasuda, 35 years old, just opened up a knick-knack shop in Shibuya. Achi knows Shibuya like his own backyard, but this Yasuda guy is new enough that Achi doesn't recognize him. Sad kazoo music. Sorry, just kind of looked like that's what you were doing. Yeah, I'm picking up trash. Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. The guy seemed pretty unnerved. Like, I just got into thinking, man, this place is filthy. Right on. Oh, God. Right in my face, Achi. Right on. Achi clasped the man's hand in his own. Someone else who gets it. They do? Totally. I see all this trash all over the place, and I can't stand it. Oh, yeah, sure, man. I feel like we're dedicated to this at different levels of intensity, my dude. The man breathed a sigh of relief. I can't stand it when someone throws something away when it can still be useful. I hear that. That's the spirit. Achi pulled out the trash he had stuffed in his pocket. Here you go. Huh? Go ahead, have all of it. The man looked confused. Dumbfounded. Usually I go around picking up all the trash around here, but I got a little thing I gotta do today. You got it from here. I'm counting on you. What? Actually, I'm kind of... Great, thanks! Achi beamed in approval, then rejoined Hitomi and headed down the street. The man let out a sigh. Fine. There are so many good faces in this game. Slipping through a narrow back alley, they came out near the top of Dogenzaka. Achi looked down the hill but didn't see a blue van anywhere. He and Hitomi started making their way down toward Shibuya Station. Hitomi muttered to herself. You don't see it parked around here. Her face twisted up with worry. It was a lot harder to find street parking closer to the station. Hitomi, hold up! Achi had a sudden idea. He darted into a nearby soba restaurant, motioning for Hitomi to follow. Hey, he called out to the proprietress, a sharp-eyed middle-aged woman. You're looking as lovely as ever today, I see. Oh, Achi, are you done collecting trash for the day? The lady took a look at Hitomi, her eyes lighting up. Is this your girlfriend?
No, it's nothing like that.
The proprietress was undeterred.
Oh, she looks just like a model. She's the spitting image of me at that age. My. Archie's got himself a girlfriend.
I said it's not like that.
The woman waved Hitomi over.
Now, you know Archie's got a bit of a mouth on him, and he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but he's a sweet boy. Okay.
Hitomi forced a polite smile to her face.
He'll try to deny it, but don't you listen. Has he told you about Suzune?
Huh?
Ma'am, please.
Archie jumped in on the conversation.
You gotta hear me out.
Whatever's the matter? I'm just trying to talk up your good points.
Are there any faces in this game that aren't good? None so far. They've all been great.
Have you seen a van parked around here?
A van? Let me think. Yeah, come to think of it, there was. A blue one,
She added confidently. Hitomi leaned forward.
Where is it now? She asked. I'm not really sure. I don't keep a close eye on things outside, after all.
Hitomi slumped.
I see. I know it doesn't look it, but I've been quite busy today. The man who makes my noodles came by earlier to settle accounts, and we fought and fought over it. No head for finances, that one. That's his problem, honestly. On top of that, of course, my part-timer Masa has to have today off.
Masa, a first-year student at Midoriyama Academy. A sweet young man who works as a part-time delivery driver for Dogen Hut and sends all his leftover money to his mother out in the country. Lately, however, he's gotten himself a girlfriend, and he's been sending money back home less frequently. His noodle house job doesn't pay enough to support both his mom and cover his dating expenses, so he's scheming for a way to make it rich quick. The podcaster look, right? Proximity to the camera creates a terrible sense of dread, like we can't escape a sick mind of the character. Archie frowned. Had she really seen a blue van, or was she just being chatty? I say we believe her. Older women who ran tobacco shops or noodle houses did seem to have a knack for spotting details. Archie decided to follow up some more.
Was there anything unusual about this van?
Well, let me think.
The woman frowned, pausing a moment in thought.
Ah,
A flash of recollection shone in her eye.
that's right now, remember? I think there was some foreigner sitting inside.
Archie and Hitomi exchanged glances.
I'm sure of it. The man who makes my noodles said he saw it too.
Was there anything else? Oh, was there anything else? Hitomi asked.
Not that I can remember.
Hitomi hung her head in frustration as they left the soba shop. Archie did his best to cheer her up.
Hey, we might still find that car. Let's try waiting around here for a while.
Just waiting? What good will that do?
It's possible they went looking for you when you didn't show, Archie said. Maybe they'll come back, you know?
He sat down on the edge of a planter outside the restaurant.
Criminals already have the money.
She said anxiously. Even Archie understood the implications. Now that the crooks had the ransom, their hostage was nothing but a liability. Why take the risk of letting her go when they already had what they wanted? The situation was bad. Very bad. Still, just running around Shibuya willy-nilly was only going to tire and frustrate them. Archie wanted to make sure Hitomi had the chance for a little break.
We don't have anywhere else to look, so let's just give it 10 minutes, okay?
He said. Hitomi seemed unconvinced. She looked like she might just march off down Dogenzaka at any moment.
Understanding must feel, but you know what they say. Slow and steady. Stay in place.
Hitomi burst out laughing.
Huh? Oh, what's so funny?
It's slow and steady wins the race.
For real?
Hitomi smiled, then sat down beside him.
All right, she said. We can wait here for 10 minutes.
Cool. We run enough races today already, right?
Hitomi kept her eyes on the cars passing through Dogenzaka for a while. Then she murmured softly to Archie.
Thank you so much for everything, really.
You can thank me after we find this van.
I'm sure if I'd been by myself, I'd been in too much of a panic to do anything.
Oh, what can I say? I try to keep my head up and face things as they come.
You're quite the optimist, aren't you?
Archie grinned. He tried to recall what optimist meant. He was pretty sure it had something to do with doctors or maybe glasses. The shy, sweet look on Hitomi's face as she said it, though, made him figure it probably wasn't a bad thing, whatever it was. Cars drifted on by, one after the other, but they saw no sign of the blue van. After a while, even Archie began to grow impatient. This was starting to feel like a waste of time. And then...
Hitomi, look!
there it was. Oh, shit! All right. So we hit a point that we can't continue past until we find it from another angle. All right. So we've hit dead end. We've hit a dead end with Achi, and we've hit an unavoidable bad end with Kano. We know how to deal with Kano's end, and that's with this cat character here, Tama. God, I could just sit and do this menu all day long. Oh God, this. I could just do this menu all. Okay, yeah, okay, gotta stop. Still, let's see. Let's. Who do we want to do? Okay, Achi and Kano are both grayed out at the moment. I think that means we. Yeah, okay, that means we can't do anything else. Let's go ahead and do. Might be one of the greatest menus. It's so good. It's just occurring to me how absolutely charming this game's FMV stuff is. I cannot handle it. Right up there with the original Xbox 360 and P5. You know what? It is an all-timer. It is an all-timer right here. Let's go with Tama. Love it. Oh, look, it's got like that effect where you zoom out far enough but put it in sharp enough relief that everything looks like toys. I love that.
It's so hot. It's so hot in this thing. Way, way too hot. I feel like I'm sitting in a sauna. Everyone else on the street looks so nice and cool, but here I am getting treated in my very own personal midsummer heat wave. On top of that, I can barely see, I can barely breathe, and for that matter... But hey, what can I do? Oh, I am so thirsty. Some iced tea would be amazing right now. I'm gonna pass out from dehydration at this rate. May as well admit it. I underestimated how tough this would be. Who knew wearing a mascot costume could be so uncomfortable? A delicate young lady like myself has no business doing this sort of job. I suddenly have so much respect for the people on those superhero team shows. Like, can you imagine doing action scenes in something like this? Heck, all I'm doing is standing here and I'm this close to calling it quits. But I can't. I need the work. I need the money. This is no time to be a wuss. If I give up on this, what else am I possibly going to do? Check out the new revolutionary diet drink, Burning Hammer! I thrust a free sample toward passerby while shouting as hard as I can. Free sample, a free portion, usually quite small, of a product given out to consumers as a sales gimmick, allows them to test the quality and effect of the cosmetic or health product prior to purchase. Frequently referred to as a trial size or freebie version of the product. In addition to passing out free samples on the streets, some shops also include free samples with purchased products. Please note that simply taking a product without paying for it in order to test it out is theft. Don't do it. Come on and give it a try. Oh, it's no use. People just walk right by, one after the other. They avoid looking at the sample. It's been like this ever since I started standing here. What gives? Figured that at least one person would have taken a bottle by now. I mean, it's free, but I haven't managed to give away a single one. If this keeps up, there's no way I'm getting paid, and then this whole miserable experience will have all been for nothing. Just drink this and watch the pounds melt away. No exercising or dieting necessary. I can hear the desperation in my own voice. Just burn, burn, burn. Burn those pounds away. They're giving me cold looks now. They probably think I'm a shyster trying to offload dodgy product. It's that simple. That simple, folks. You can just drink the weight away. I guarantee it. Heck, this whole thing reeks of a scam to me, too.
In other words, it seems extremely dubious or suspicious. The word scam, referring to a type of dishonest scheme, is actually unknown origin. Several folk etymologies have been proposed, including that it comes from a simple shortening of scandalous misdeeds. but these claims have little evidence to support them.
Losing weight just by drinking some concoction is way too good to be true. But still, free is free, right? You'd think that I'd be able to give one or two away. It's not like I'm not trying. Okay, pep talk time.
Few games let you play as a man-made horror. Impressive. True!
Okay, pep talk time. You can do this. Just think about the money. Just start with one bottle. All right, I'm going to give this bottle away to the next person I see, no matter what. I close my eyes and gather my determination. I just need to get started, and the momentum will build from there. All right, eyes open. There are 2 people walking my direction. Wait, 2? Oh no, which one do I pick? If I keep waffling, they're both going to pass me by. I just need to hand this bottle off. Which one of these guys is more likely to take it?
All right, so we know that passing it off to Sasayama on the right there will cause a bad ending. So let's do that first, and then we'll come back and do the other one.
Clutching the free sample in my furry fist, I try to force it off on the disheveled fellow to my right. To my surprise, he takes it.
What's this?
He asks, lifting an eyebrow as he looks at the bottle. I flap my fuzzy arms and strike a cute pose as I launch into the product pitch. It's Burning Hammer, the #1 new diet drink. Please give it a try.
No thanks, the man says. I'm good.
I keep my arms held open wide and pretend I didn't hear it.
Look, he says, I'm in a hurry. You should give this to someone else.
He tries to hand me the sample back to me, but I hold my ground. For a few moments, we're at a silent impasse. Maybe he's weirded out by my cat alter ego holding its freeze frame pose, because eventually he looks away, slips the bottle into his pocket, and walks off. I did it! I finally got someone to take one. But there's still so many samples left. My brief surge of excitement dies before it can fully take hold. Wonder how the other mascot is doing about it now.
Oh, the other sales mascot. Oh, that is...
Yeah, there's
There's a sales demo happening today at 1 o'clock in Nokane building.
Looks like the chicken has handed out all kinds of samples. I don't get it. How come nobody is taking any of mine? What could I possibly be doing wrong? I look at the clock, and it's a little after 11. My morning wandering around hawking diet drinks is just about over. I get ready to head to the sales demo. I'd love to take the costume off, but then I'd have to carry it. Samples I haven't given out are almost too heavy as it is. Oh well. May not have gotten results, but I tried my best. Sure hope they don't withhold my pay or anything.
Hey,
Hey, what gives? You got that many left?
the chicken.
The chicken speaks with a
Whoa, okay, a female. well, she.
nice cock, bro.
Yeah, right. Hey, what gives? You got that many left?
The chicken speaks with a female voice. Yeah, I reply sheepishly. Nobody seems to want to take mine.
Well, I mean, are you looking for the right targets?
Huh?
Like groups of girls or bored-looking older ladies. Those are the types you gotta be gunning for, you know.
Wow, I hadn't even considered that. Now that she says it, it seems so obvious. This is a diet drink, after all. Of course I'm not gonna have any luck trying to foist it off on random guys.
Well, whatever.
The chicken says.
Here, give me the samples you got left.
I hand over my samples, and the chicken dumps the whole lot into her basket.
I'll drink whatever's left so they don't find out you didn't pass them out.
She says. Wait, like all of them?
Yeah, all of them.
The chicken sounds pretty confident in herself. These may just be sample-sized bottles, but still they add up to a lot. I feel myself on the brink of tears at the kindness of her offer. Thank you so much. That's a huge help. I bow deeply, which makes my mascot head wobble. Leaving the station behind, we head down Center Guy towards the Nokane building.
Mascots looking at each other's costumes doing the Bateman. Impressive. Very nice. The Nokane building is a multi-tenant office building in Udagawacho, located in Sentragai, Shibuya's downtown district. In addition to hosting the weight loss drink sales demo, the building is also home to the foreign capital protection firm Japan Cellcom, the IT mainstay in Shibuya OnNet, SON, video game developer Shindai Tradco, the Strike Back Labs, publisher of the monthly magazine Science Strikes Back, along with many other businesses.
The Burning Hammer sales demo is going to be held there this afternoon. The job's supposed to pay 10,000 yen for the day, but if we can sell at least 100 bottles in the demo, they promised another 10,000 on top of that. I need to make sure I sell those 100 bottles. I need that 20,000 yen, and I need it ASAP. I need a lot of money, and I need it quick.
Wow! The fucking artwork for the Burning Hammer drink is so good. Oh, I love everything about this. Oh, especially the pack where it literally kills one of us.
We arrive at the Nokane building, a rundown multi-tenant office complex. We head into the room where the Burning Hammer sales demo is taking place. There are already about 50 seats set out. Wonder how many people the free samples will pull in. The stage has been set up at the far end of the room. That's where I'm going to be standing, sipping Burning Hammer while explaining its effects to the customers.
Hurry up and take that thing off.
The chicken flaps her wings as she speaks.
It's kind of early, but come on, let's have lunch. I'm starving.
Now that she mentions it, I realize I'm pretty hungry myself. The demo's not starting for another 2 hours. Can't win a war against my stomach for that long. The chicken and I head to the waiting room where they've set out our lunches for us.
The most real place in gaming history? It really is.
Mind getting my back real quick?
The chicken
asks. He arches her back toward me.
Now there is a top 10 all-time video game image. You feel you've been here even though it's impossible, right?
Apparently, she can't reach her own zipper. Oh, sure. Just give me a sec. I try to unzip the back of the chicken suit, but my own suit's thick, fuzzy fingers have a hard time of it.
Love wins. Love wins. True.
What's the holdup? Come on, I'm roasting in this thing. Hurry up and get it off me.
I have almost got it. It's just awkward with these mitts. Finally, I get a hold of the zipper and yank it downward. The girl emerges from the chicken as if the chicken itself were an egg.
Whew, I'm alive.
Her red sweatshirt is drenched in sweat. Almost at once, she's kicking back and cooling off with a hand fan. Sorry, but would you mind getting me too? I ask.
Yeah, okay.
I turn my back to the girl.
On this, the first day of Pride Month, right? Oh, I heard Pride Month is canceled. We're actually doing Gay Wrath Month, so... Rah. When the two mascots began fucking, it was subtle foreshadowing I downloaded the wrong genre of VN.
I hear metal clacking behind me. At long last, I'm about to be free of this 5-ton fursuit.
Huh?
The girl murmurs awkwardly. Huh? What? A spike of anxiety hits me. What's wrong? I ask.
Are we trapped in the fursuit?
Yeah, that is a no-go. The zipper is busted.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but this thing ain't coming off.
What? My vision goes dark.
Cena Month, celebrating 20 years of John Cena. Oh, I see.
No. I tug desperately at the costume, but no luck. I am trapped inside. Oh, what the crap?
Ah, well, we can talk to the boss about it when he gets back, the girl says. I mean, it's not like we can just cut it off you with scissors or anything.
She sounds entirely unconcerned. It's so unfair. Need to get out of the stuffy, sweltering steam bath as soon as possible. All I can do is clench my fist in impotent rage.
But anyway, good luck out there today.
The girl continues.
I'm Chiriko Osugi, by the way. You can just call me Chiri.
She smiles as she introduces herself.
I mean, I am a pretty cheery girl, after all.
She breaks into a hearty guffaw. Oh, sure, I say. It's nice to meet you, too.
Yeah, for sure. So, I guess you're not going to be able to eat lunch in that getup, huh?
That's right. What should I do?
Don't sweat it. Just leave it all to me.
Huh?
I'll eat both lunches myself.
Cheery doesn't even wait for me to reply before reaching for my lunch.
It'd be a shame to let it go to waste.
She says. She makes it sound like leftover food is a bigger concern than my hunger. I can feel my appetite stirring all the more as she devours my meal with a satisfied grin on her face. A faint, pathetic gurgle rises from my belly.
Oh, there are so many good ones in this game. I'm in Shibuya and got trapped in my fursuit. Is this heaven or hell? The name of the hot new Yiffing VLN. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's just a cheap prepackaged box lunch, but right now it looks like a feast.
So what's your name?
Cheery asks. Her cheeks are still packed with rice. My name?
Yeah.
Oh, it's, As I struggle to think of an answer, my eyes alight on the piece of tamagoyaki clutched between Cheery's chopsticks.
I love this giant stupid cat head. I love it too.
The yellow slab of lightly grilled egg wobbles to and fro. You can see the inside from the way it's been sliced. It's like it's somewhat undercooked.
Come on, what's your name?
All right. It's, Tama. It's Tama.
Huh, you mean the famous cat? Well, ain't that fitting?
Cheery chortles and stuffs the last piece of tamagoyaki in her mouth and takes a big swig of iced tea. I am beyond jealous. I wish I could gorge myself on those lunch boxes until I'm full to bursting. Even a glass of gold iced tea would be a lifesaver right about now.
Won't you take off that mask?
It's my real face.
Yeah.
I'm so thirsty that I'm starting to get all dizzy. Maybe I really am getting dehydrated. This isn't good. If I don't do something, I'm going to start to pass out before the sales demo even starts. And then I remember something. The zipper down my back might be busted, but I can still take the head off, right? That way I'd at least be able to eat and drink stuff. All right.
Let's ask Cheery for help with the head.
I decide to ask Cheery. Sorry, but would you mind helping me pull my... Ow! I feel a dull, throbbing pain in the back of my head. I put my head somewhere, but I don't remember doing that recently. Cheery flashes me a curious look.
What are you doing? She asks.
I thought maybe I could at least get the head off.
That ain't gonna work. That thing's attached to the body.
I slump forward in defeat, fans planting on the tabletop. No.
Most folks would have noticed that when they put it on, you know.
Well, I didn't. The boss helped me get into the thing.
Well, don't let it get you down, Cheery says. Here, drink some of this.
She pulls a bottle with a straw from her bag and pours some of the tea into it. In a fever of thirst, I jammed the plastic straw through the mascot's costume mouth. Thankfully, it reaches as far as my own. I suck for all I'm worth.
What an amazing game this is.
I suck, and I suck, and I suck. My body rejoices as the moisture returns to it like rain coming to the desert. And thus, I revive. Actually does kind of feel like I'm coming back to life. Thank you so much. I am never going to forget this as long as I live. With tears welling up in my eyes, I clutch Cheery's hand in my fuzzy mitts.
Oh, hey, I'm not the kind of person to abandon someone in need, you know?
She replies, an embarrassed grin crosses her face.
Tom is approached. He does not need Kano's dick diary, right?
How come you're carrying this bottle around with you anyway? I ask.
Oh, that's because I make my own protein juice. In Japan, the word protein is frequently used to refer to a powdered health food supplement that contains vitamins and minerals, as well as a protein component. It is dissolved in milk or another liquid to create a drink. A protein diet typically involves drinking a glass of this in place of a meal. Drinking it in place of tea would assuredly lead to weight gain.
Protein juice? Never heard of it.
I heard that if you have protein juice for one of your 3 meals a day, you'll lose weight. So yeah, I kind of need to keep it.
Given Cheery's sort of, well, chubby frame, I don't think the protein's been working so great for her.
I've been trying to sell all sorts of stuff, but right now protein is totally the best thing for my diet. This stuff, though.
Cheery cast her eyes at the samples of burning hammer on the table.
It's like totally bogus.
Huh? Bogus? That's a surprise.
Well, yeah.
Cheery says.
You gotta exercise if you want to burn body fat. The best way to burn fat is to engage in steady, low-intensity aerobic exercise. For roughly 20 minutes of such exercise, the body burns through its available blood sugar, and the brain sends signals to have fat brought into the bloodstream. This is how fat is burned. Anaerobic exercise, which leaves you panting and breathless, is not effective. She smacks herself on one flabby arm. I mean, there's no way you're gonna lose weight by taking in more calories.
Didn't she was just say she was drinking protein juice to lose weight? I keep that thought to myself.
I mean, that'd be as ridiculous as an all-you-can-eat Kobe beef, she adds.
She takes her head seriously. I'm not sure about using all you can eat as anything as an example in a discussion about weight loss, but again, I keep the thought to myself.
But hey, a job's a job.
Cheery says after a moment, perking up again.
They tell me to sell this junk and I'll sell it.
A sudden wailing comes from the other side of the door.
Please just give me time. I swear I'll get it back to you. What the heck? Cheery says. Is that the boss?
I nod. That's definitely Mr. Yanakashita's voice. He's the guy who hired me. Sidling up alongside Cheery, I very quietly open the door and take a peek inside. Mr. Yanakashita is down on his hands and knees, begging, while 2 uncouth-looking men glower at him.
Just a little more time, that's all I ask.
He pleads.
Once I sell this stuff, I can pay you back.
I see a tiny bottle of burning hammer in his hand.
Just a little more.
Mimics the middle-aged fellow.
I just gotta sell this. We've heard enough out of you. Yeah!
The younger guy sneers.
We ain't giving you any more time, so quit asking. But I really just need a little longer this time. Please, you gotta believe me. Flawless. Flawless. Can't wait for how this will inevitably converge with the kidnapping plot, right? Well, I mean, we've already seen some overlap now. From the look of things, Mr.
Yanagashita is dealing with some loan sharks.
Though it seems obvious that this term refers to toothy predators of the deep, the word shark in this case actually has its origins in an older Germanic word meaning parasite or someone who preys on others. The same word gave rise to the terms pool shark and card shark. In the case of loan sharks, though, the initial mental image seems quite appropriate. Tama is your new favorite character? Sorry, Sasayama. Sasayama isn't even a POV character. Friendship with Sasayama ended, friendship with Tama started.
And the 2 thugs are clearly in no mood for his continued groveling. Cheery and I exchange a glance. It's probably best if we don't go out there right now. But now I'm really worried. Am I actually going to get paid for this gig? As I'm pondering that, one of the men grabs Yanakashita by the nape of his neck and drags him to his feet.
Come with us, pal. We'll take you someplace you can, work off your debts. Say what? Mr. Yanagashita wails. The 2 men drag him away.
Goodbye.
Stealth at 100, no stat increase.
Well, I guess he's gone then, Cheery says. She's already starting to pack up her things. Wait, what are you doing? I ask.
Going home. Not much point sticking around.
Going home?
I mean, the demo sure ain't happening now. Anyhow, it was nice working with you. See ya.
Moments later, Cheery is out the door. Now what do I do? Oh, I've been left here all by myself. More or less at a total loss.
Stealth the best stat for a sales mascot, right? Shift's over. Our poor feline friend isn't going to get paid now that those debt collectors showed up and dragged her boss away. If a certain someone hadn't told the thugs how to get to the Nokane building, they probably wouldn't have caught Yanagashita. I just have been 11:15, but who has to make it? Well, butts. At least we understand where that decision is now. I thought I was doing a helpful thing, helping them out, but no, we gotta have Achi tell them the wrong way. Oh, Tama. All right. So here's what we're going to do for today. I think we're going to call it here right now. Thomas sitting in the middle of the room looks like the sad aftermath of a school play someone's parents didn't show up to. It does! Oh, no. All right, so I'm going to stream more of this again tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, we're going to go back to the... I wanted to do this stream on its own today, but starting tomorrow, we're going to go back to the rotation where I'm going to do an hour of Toho practice in the first part of the stream, and then the second, 3 hours or so are going to be the game of choice. In this case, 428. So hopefully you'll come by tomorrow. We'll see more of this wonderful game. Thanks for the stream. This game is beautiful. This game is a gem, and I love that we have found it. There's a new episode of Two Queers Play out in about an hour. If you haven't seen the preview for it yet, it is going to be part 1 of 2 of our playthrough of Mr. Rayner's Solve It Service. It's another game by Ether Rain, and it kind of part visual novel, part adventure game, and it is incredible. If you like Ether Rain's other stuff, you definitely need to check that out. That'll be going up in about an hour now, so I hope you enjoy that. And then there will be a fresh episode of Umineko coming on Friday. Thank you all for coming by, and that's all I've got for you.